Yang Zom is going to come on after she finishes eating, so that's good.
Cool, cool, cool.
And
How's everyone
Mai, are
doing?
you around? Can you get on? Oh, hi, Adam. How you doing?
Cool. I'm gonna get started, Pam.
Good.
Can you guys see my screen or no? Not yet.
No, we can only see our group.
Okay. How's
Yep.
this?
Lecture 3. Let me ask one question before we start. If we have questions along the time that you are speaking, can we ask them, or would you rather us ask you questions at the end, Jim?
Oh yeah, I was gonna address this. So if you guys have questions, so yeah, okay. We have a lot to cover. Like, I just want to share some of my thoughts on these topics,
Okay.
and then I want to go through homework 2 with everyone.
Okay.
And and then going through homework 2, I just want everyone, I'll give my feedback as well, but I also want you guys to kind of pitch in. And then we'll go through like the next homework as well, like for homework 3. So I'm gonna speed through this talk, but if you do have questions, just like give like raise your hand, like use the raise hand emoji, or just drop your question or comment in the chat,
Got
and
it.
I'll do my best to look at it throughout the talk. I'll also stop for questions as well, but yeah, I'm really trying to spend like not too much time on this, but we'll see. We'll see how the flow takes us. All right. Does that sound good? Give me a thumbs up with the
Sure.
emojis. No, no, use the emojis.
Yeah. Thumbs up. Let the guy know he's doing a good job.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right, you guys know how to use it. Okay. So we're gonna talk about how to find customers, how to mix sales, and how to pitch and present. We might not get to the third one today, but we'll see how we do. Okay. Schedule a one-on-one meeting with me. This is the link. I'll share this deck afterwards as well, so you guys can get the link. But I want to get more thoughts on how you guys are feeling about this program and how we can make it better for you guys for like the rest of the week and even afterwards. Um, so this is what the program's gonna look like for the rest of the week. Like this week, we're focused on sales and marketing. Next week, we're gonna focus on pitch and presenting. And after that, we're gonna have our competition. And on week 6, I'll send out invites to the top performers of this program for another program that we're doing afterwards.
Nice.
And this is a little bit about the Shark Tank competition. We're still finalizing a few things, specifically the judges. There's just a lot of really cool people, and sometimes it's hard to make a decision on, what kind of people might be best for this cohort. But some notable changes, we're gonna offer some like cash prizes to kind of make it kind of fun.
Wow.
And we're gonna have 5 teams presenting. So I know we have more than 5 teams right now. So we're gonna do something around like week 4 to find our 5 teams. All right, does that make sense so far? Give me a thumbs up, it makes sense. Cool. Okay, so when I say how to find your customers, I think what's more important is like, how do you find your people? And when I say people, I just mean anyone who can help you get what you want, right? Like I know customers are definitely important, but I think sometimes it's probably more important to just like get people who can help you get what you want, right? And sometimes that is customers, sometimes they might be like, decision maker, mission officers, whoever those people are. We're going to talk a little bit about like how you get in touch with those people. So this is pretty obvious, right? I'm not gonna spend too much time on this, but there's like first degree, second degree, third degree connections. And I hope it's very intuitive to everyone that you should definitely start with your first and second degree, right? These are your friends of friends, people who kind of know you and want to see you succeed. These are the easiest people for you to get in touch with, for them to be your first customers, for them to share what you're doing. And the third degree is obviously the hardest one. And I would really avoid the cold emailing unless you absolutely have to. Like you have no connections. Like if I'm trying to, I don't know, if I'm trying to like, I don't know, go rocket, but even then I might have some like connections, right? That my point is really don't try to like the goal of cold emailing is to stop cold emailing as fast as possible. It's to like get a warm intro from the people you cold email so you can stop doing that. Because the ROI is just really low. And some insights that I've gotten from cold emailing is you just want to be very straight to the point, like be very clear, concise. The reader shouldn't have to do any mental gymnastics to understand saying and what you're asking. Have a very clear chart who you want your signups. And I want you to, the mentality I want you to have is focus on building a relationship with these people, not just, I need something from you, give it to me, right? I know it's transactional, but don't go into it with a transactional mentality, right? Go into it with, I want to work with this person long-term, and this is just a request. So this is a recent email that I sent and got back from an investor at Techstars. And I wanted to show you this because it really wasn't anything that complicated, right? Like I think people all I'm reaching out to investors or finding things clear about who you are, how you found them. Like in this email, I just talked about how I found her through a TED Talk. And I found it interesting because she's in a community and I'm also building a community, right? You see how I kind of like said something about her and then kind of related back to me. So that's usually how it goes. And then I talk about what I'm working on. And I don't use any complicated language, right? It's very simple what I'm working on. Like I'm just building an accelerator for Asian high school and college kids. I said the word accelerator because I know she knows what the word accelerator means. But if she was someone else, I might just say school or building an entrepreneurship school. So my message kind of changes depending on who I'm talking to, right? And I also talked about like our progress so far. We've helped 15 kids and here are the reviews. And this builds some credibility. And then finally, I talk about like what I'm looking for, what I want, right? I'm looking to scale this and I want Techstars to be part of it. It's pretty straightforward. I don't think anything is like rocket science here. But I will say, I don't think you should copy what I'm doing. I think instead, the mentality of like, I'm just gonna express what I want and my needs. I think that's more important than just like copying this as a template, right? I think the idea is like, I didn't really put too much thought into it. And I don't think when you're writing your cold emails, I don't think you should either. Like, don't invest too much time into these things. I think you just wanna make it very easy. So I asked ChatGPT why this worked, and you guys can look at this later, but I think it's basically what I said, right? I think it's just giving out a compliment, having a very clear purpose and evidence of success, and being very specific about what I want. And I also wanted to show you this slide because it actually took me a while to respond back to her because I didn't really have a clear plan of what I wanted to do with Speak Up. And this is really important because I think oftentimes founders or people building something don't really know what they're trying to build or how the other person can help. And I've been in a lot of calls where the investor, the person is like down to help me. They're down to invest. They're down to like just help me in some way. But I didn't know what to ask. And I didn't know how they can help me. And I realized that people who are at that level, they want to help, but they don't really have a lot of time to help you figure out how they can help you. So if you're going to reach out to them, it's honestly best if you just have a plan. It doesn't have to be the right plan, but just have a plan and ask them for feedback on your plan, right? Than it is to like come up with a plan together sometimes. If it's not if it doesn't match them, they'll just tell you, right? And you guys can work together. But I think sometimes it's honestly, it's probably better to go someone and come back later with like a solid plan than it is to like just keep moving forward without really knowing what you're trying to do. And when you're reaching out to people, there's really three things you're trying to get: trust, usage, or money. In the following example, I was trying to get some trust and usage as well. I was also trying to get money, but I don't think that really worked out because Techstars doesn't sponsor accelerators. But typically what that looks like is someone signing up for your waitlist or someone watching your video, right? And for you guys want to find where your people are and get their attention. And one of the ways I suggest doing this is just providing value, right? Like in the Techstar example, the value was she can come on as a speaker and share about Techstars and probably also feel good about herself. So this is how I like to think about it. Like, you don't have to be so technical about it, but this is just like a pyramid of needs. As you get higher, it becomes like basically you have to get your like foundational needs met. This is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? And really, there's only a few things that people need in this world. Like they got to feel good about themselves. They got to find like love, belonging, security, all that stuff. So as you're building your product, just refer back to this and just think about like what kind of needs are you fulfilling? So for Speak Up Ventures, I like to think that the needs that we're fulfilling is helping people feel supported and safe, finding love and belonging, like mentorship, and just helping people build confidence and looking good. Um, and also some personal growth as well, like helping people reach their full potential. So these are some hacks that I don't know what you said. These are just like hacks in life. If you're trying to meet like interesting people or just people like your customers, for example, honestly, just host events. I think hosting events is just a great way because everyone wants to have a good time. Everyone just wants to have fun. Doing podcasts is also really good. It's like very low effort, and you get to like talk to really cool people and build relationships with them. Building a community is also really good because I mean, you just meet a lot of people and people just think you're a leader and you learn a lot. I think building a community is really good because you just meet a lot of people and you learn about different problems and different solutions. You just become very well connected and people kind of come to you at the end of the day for like entertainment or connections. So you just end up knowing everyone. Um, and yeah, just to summarize, all right, at the end of the day, people really just want to have a good time and relax. And people do want to be part of something great that's bigger than themselves. And I like to think that's why like a lot of people resonate with Speak Up Ventures, right? Because it's just like a mission, right? That a lot of people can relate to. And I say this because I think a lot of you guys are applying to college or internships or jobs or whatever. Or even like if you're talking to investors, I think the point I'm trying to make is just do something awesome, like something that's like meaningful to you. And by doing that, people will recognize, like people can sense the enthusiasm, right? Like people can see the progress. And it would just make you much more attractive than you trying to reach out to everyone and trying to find investors, right? I think sometimes people will just find you naturally. And you want to make it very easy for people to help you. And using social media to build these connections is really good. Um, okay. So this is another example of just an email I wrote to someone to forward. And it's titled forwardable email. And the idea of what this is that like when I say make it easier for people to help you, I really mean make it very easy for people to help you. Like draft the entire email if you have to, and just make it be like, hey, I drafted this email. Can you just send it to this person who I need to get in touch with, right? You want to make it so that people don't have to lift a finger to help you. Do you guys know what this is? Type in the
Boba?
comment. Yeah, it's boba, right? So this is boba, guys. It's like a very specific brand. It's pretty famous in New York City. And I met the founder just over Instagram DMs. At first, he didn't really respond to me. He kind of just like liked my message. But eventually, I kind of just sent him videos of basically I just sent him these, right? Like we had like an event at his boba shop and just like tagged the hell out of him on social media, and we had other people tag it as well. And I just sent him a bunch of videos, and I just kind of thanked them like, hey, we had an event out there and it was really cool. And then I just asked, like, I was pretty bold about like my ask, right? Like I wanted to like schedule time with him. I want to work together with him. And eventually we held an event and it was pretty fun. But my point is, I think social media, this is very obvious, right? But I think social media has just made it very possible for you to reach out to just about anyone, right? I'm talking like any CEO, any investor, any potential customer. So there's really no excuse that you can't reach out to someone. I think here, the reason why this worked is because I provided value first. Like I know that he just wants to make money, right? He's a business, right? So I just referred to him customers. And I didn't wait for a collaboration or anything like that. You just do it, you know? Oh yeah, and having social proof is really good. Like just asking your friend to like tag it. Yeah, that stuff just speaks volume. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna go over this. I also asked ChatGPT why those messages worked, and that was the response. But I know, remember I said like hosting events is really good. Yeah, yeah, I think a lot of people these days are just very lonely, and people are looking for fun. Like they might not say it to your face, but I think people are just looking for emotional support these days. So if you can just host events, like the guy in the green box, he's like the head of ML at TikTok, right? And honestly, like if I didn't like host this event, there's no way I would have met him, right? And he's like one of the mentors now for this program and helping us form this nonprofit,
Oh, that's
right?
great.
So and also like Kalex, right? Like another friend. Like I just hosted like podcasts with him, and he's like this 16-year-old guy that like sold 2 companies for 6 figures. So it's like, and this like YC founder who I just was hosting events at Stanford, and because I know like who doesn't want to come to Stanford, right? To like host an event or give a talk or just meet other YC founders. So I think the idea I'm trying to make is you can meet just about anyone in the world, as long as like you find out what they really care about and help them get what they want. And people don't want anything crazy. Like people want very simple things, right? Like prestige, like relationships, love, belonging, security, like the Maslow hierarchy needs. So people are very easy to figure out. That's kind of the point I'm trying to make. Um, and if you do host events and you don't have money, just get other people to fund it. That's the real truth. Like this lady, she's like, and I think she's a partnership at some VC firm, some venture capital firm, right? Which like funds startups basically. And hey, I just wanted to host a few dinners, and I wanted to ask if she was down, right? Um, and yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Like I think people just don't ask. Like I think it's just all these resources are available, all these people are here to help, but people just don't reach out to ever ask, and it's crazy to me. Um, And the craziest thing is I didn't even reach out to her. Like she reached out to me. I think she connected with me. And I just asked her, like, hey, I saw that you followed me. How can I help you? Right. Oh, that's something I realized. Like if you just offer your help, even if like, I don't know, this is kind of manipulative, but you can honestly offer your help to someone and then someone else will be, and if they don't need your help, they'll be like, oh, I don't need your help, but how can I help you? Right. People are just people just like to reciprocate in that way. Like if I loaned you $10, you're just hardwired to want to get back, like give back to me somehow. Like, because people don't like to feel owed. But yeah, just be very straightforward about what you want sometimes, right? And this is the founder of Blind. I don't know if you guys know Blind, but it's like this anonymous social media app for tech people in tech, and it's pretty big. I think it's like a $500 million company right now.
Wow.
And I just reached out to this guy because honestly, I didn't even think he was smart. He's one of the first people I reached out to because I thought he was super famous. But turns out he's not I mean, he is really famous. It turns out no one really reaches out to him. And he's super down to help, right? And I think, and this is just crazy to me, like how many like amazing, successful people there are who honestly you just really have to reach out. And that's like, I think that's the craziest thing, is like just no one does it. Um, and it's nothing crazy. Like I don't think I wrote anything that's like nothing was like this is not textbook anything, right? This is just like me talking. Like I would literally say this to you. I think that's the other thing. Like if you just treat people like you've known them for a while, or you just be very casual with them, be very down to earth. Like it doesn't need to be like anything crazy, you know? You don't need to like flex how smart you are or anything. Like if you're smart, people will know. Like you really don't gotta say it. Um, this was a post that I made that went kind of viral a few years ago. And I just wanted to kind of talk about it a little bit. And lately, I've discovered this thing called like ethos, logos, pathos. And this kind of brought me back to middle school a little bit because I think this is kind of when I first learned about it. And I think it's just good to kind of refresh a little bit. Like what, how do you make a persuasive post, right? Because at the end of the day, like you just want people to help you or do an action for you. And I think how I like to think about it is like the reason why I think this post went viral is because I established some credibility. Like I talked about how I went to Cornell, I got this like amazing job offer. Um, and I was also kind of relatable. Like I talked about how like I had this really low GPA, right? And I think that's like the emotion part of it. Like I gave people hope that, hey, even I'm just like you. I got this like GPA and I was able to get this amazing job offer, right? And I gave some logical steps of how I did it, right? Like I went to these links and I did this, I did this. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because I think social media is just like a really good way for you to express yourself and find people who are kind of like you, right? Like I guarantee you that people who liked it and commented and reposted it probably were also like struggling in school and found this post very valuable because I also shared the email template of what I wrote. And if you're like building a startup that is trying to find people like that with those certain characteristics or personality, I think sometimes just sharing your story is a great way to find a community, basically. Um, Yes, basically you can build community on social media, and you just kind of have to express yourself and give value. Again, it all comes back to giving value. I don't think I'm gonna share this TikTok today, but you guys are welcome to watch it. It's basically a few years ago. I did this like I made these TikToks about dating, and I was pretty explicit because I know at the end of the day, like people just want certain things for dating. And I was very like I was just like, this is like follow these steps and you'll get more sex, more dates. What did I say? More matches on dating apps, right? Like it's very like honest about like very specific about like what people will get, right? Like you don't have to beat around the bush sometimes. Like when that's what I mean by being very shameless about it, right? Just say exactly what people want. You want to get into an Ivy League? This program will help you get into an Ivy League. Like people don't care about study tips, that stuff like that. If there was a pill that I could take to get a six pack, I would. I would take it without a doubt. And no side effects. So the point I'm trying to make, right, is if you're trying to make a sale or make people do something for you, it's really important to understand what people care about, right? What are their problems? What solutions have they tried? Like what didn't work? Like how much are they willing to pay for something like this? Um, and when you're talking about your solution, like you don't really like have you been in conversations where people just go talk endlessly about what they're working on, all the different features it has? Shut up. Like you don't need to do that. Like people aren't stupid, right? Like you can just share a little bit about what you're working on. Do not focus on the technical features. And this is very important for technical people because I noticed that with myself as well. We just love talking about the features that we're building and how awesome it is, but no one really cares about that, right? Like really, really, really focus on how your product, like how the customer, like how the person you're talking to is going to get what they want. How they're going to get what they want faster and easier because of using your product. Like you don't care that I'm giving you guys homeworks, right? Like you just care about the results. Like everyone just cares about the results. So just talk about the results and let them ask you questions, right? Like people will obviously will naturally be curious. And if they're not asking you questions, good, move on. That's a sign. Like learn to read the room, right? Um, building trust and rapport. Look, this is obviously easiest if people already know you, or people like can refer you or give you warm intros, or you just create like valuable content on social media, right? I think another way to build trust and rapport, especially with people you don't know, is to just be very vulnerable with them. And when I say vulnerable, I don't mean like telling a sad story about how your dad left you. Like, no, I don't mean that kind of vulnerability. I mean like I don't care what you think of me. But I'm gonna share this anyways, right? Just think about relationships in general. Like if you're like trying to date a girl, for example, right? Girls can think of the guys too, right? But my point is, if you're trying to build a relationship with someone, chances are your intentions are really important. Like you might like you just want to be very honest about your intentions, right? Like, and part of being very vulnerable is not caring what people think of you. And that if you don't care what people think of you, or you don't care what people think of you, that allows you to kind of express yourself more honestly. And when you're trying to make the sale, always try to seek rejection, if that makes sense. Like try to advance the conversation in some way, right? Like if you're trying to make a sale, you really gotta ask them, are you gonna buy it? Can you buy it like right now? Like you almost want that rejection because you want people to make a decision whether they're gonna go forward with you or they're not gonna go forward with you. And for that to happen, you have to be okay with rejection, right? And for that to happen, you have to be okay with expressing yourself. I think most of you are too afraid to express yourself because you want people to like you. You want college admission officers to like you. You want this customer to make a sale and pay you. You want this person to join your company. So in doing that, you try to say things that they like. Don't do that. Don't just say things that they like. Like actually try to learn what they like and build it. But at the end of the day, you have to be honest to yourself and say what you mean, right? So another thing is like follow up relentlessly. Like people are really busy. I think sometimes like I think last time we talked about how like you guys get discouraged if people don't respond back to you. Don't get discouraged. It really doesn't mean anything. Like people are actually genuinely really busy. You guys might not be that busy because you're in college or in high school, but like if you're working, like think about it. Your entire life is people asking things from you. you know, like that this deadline is due. Where is this? Oh, come to this event. Like, you know, like everyone's just asking things from you, right? So just be empathetic about that, right? Like make it easy for people to help you. And if people can't help you right now or they don't respond, who cares? Just keep sharing updates until they tell you to stop. Like just keep sharing updates and it's fine. Be very anti-fragile. You know, like the word fragile means like, oh, you get hurt and you're like, oh, I'm broken, right? But the opposite of that is if someone cuts like a finger, right, off you, you grow it back. Like you're the opposite of being fragile. And I think this is really important. Like just kind of having like more mental toughness. So in terms of making the sale, these are really the three things you want. You know, trust, usage, money. I think we talked about trust, right? Like, will they trust you? Like, will they give you their emails? Will they use your product? Will they actually like demo you or PayPal you or whatever? So this is just like how I find jobs these days. I don't really apply to companies. I try to reach out to hiring managers. And I'm pretty straightforward about it, right? Like I give them like a pitch of who I am and are they responsible for hiring? And I follow up pretty relentlessly about this. And there's like certain tools that you can use that like you can set if people don't respond after a certain day, you can remind them, right? So my point is like you just gotta keep following up sometimes. And don't invest too much into it. It doesn't really mean much. It's just following up. Um, I think the reason why most people are afraid of rejection is because their ego is just too high. And I would suggest that you guys lower your ego and just be more detached from your idea. Because rejection is actually really good. Tips on pitch, how much time do we have? Fudge. We don't have time for this. Oh, okay. One more thing I will say about pitching, right? Like, don't try to sell too hard. Don't overcomplicate it. Keep it very simple and just state exactly what things are. Sometimes it's okay to be boring if people understand what you're working on than it is to like just speak very cloudy language, right? Don't try to impress people. So this is like an email that I wrote to the Cornell Entrepreneurship Group. And it was pretty straightforward. I just stated exactly what I'm doing, right? And it was nothing sexy. Like I was just telling people what I built over the weekend and where I'm sharing it, and I'm asking people to use it basically, right? And an investor reached out and just asked if I was looking for investors. I don't know. I don't think it's like that hard to find investors if you're actually doing something interesting and you're sharing it everywhere. I think the reason why people can't find investors or people have a hard time finding investors because one, people try to optimize for investment. Right? People don't aren't like I rarely do you find people just doing something cool for the sake of doing it. Um, and then secondly, people just don't share enough about what they're working on. People kind of just build in their rooms and you never hear about it. So yeah, if you're someone who can like actually walk the walk, like actually build something cool, like complete this program, for example, and you're okay with sharing it shamelessly, you don't care what people think, you're just like on a mission, like those are very attractive people. And like you don't need to be the one reaching out to investors, like they'll come to you. Okay, so yeah, it's basically where we talked about this already. But basically key points from today. Be very bold, like don't be afraid to take risk and ask for help. And you can be very strategic about your relationships, right? Like notice how like I can like you can like I hope that I hope that the thing you take away from this call is you can actually reach out to anyone in the world. Like you're probably like only like 1 or 2 degrees away from like Mark Zuckerberg, for example, right? And that's Mark Zuckerberg is really hard to reach out to. But my point is you can reach out to like maybe his like chief product officer, right? Like my point is you can reach out to just about anyone in the world. So be very strategic about who you reach out to and how they can help you get what you want. And part of that is knowing what you want. And share it everywhere. Like share what you're working on everywhere. It doesn't matter. People will forget, even if it fails, and even if it doesn't work out. One, no one really cares. People forget it right away. And I think taking responsibility, like just like taking accountability publicly is really good because people just trust you way more. And also lean into people's egos. Like everyone has an ego. Like everyone wants to look good. Everyone wants to look sexy. Lean into that, right? People want to feel good about themselves. Um, And if you can, get other people to say good things about you. Like sometimes, yeah, you can say how amazing you are, but sometimes it's not enough. Like sometimes other people have to say good things about you. And part of that is just providing value first. What else? Final words. All right, one last thing. Don't take so long to launch something. I know that you guys are doing great, by the way, but I'm just for future, right? Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn, has this saying: if you're not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you've launched too late. And I think this is very true. Like, it's okay to not be perfect, because I think people kind of think that this is one launch that we need to do. But in reality, you launch over and over and over and over again. Like there's millions of launches. And you can apply this to not just building software, right? You can build this, like applies to building videos, making songs, building products, doing anything. You just do it iteratively. Launching is like taking shots, right? Like, so if you want to be like Michael Jordan, you just got to take a lot of shots. Okay, does that make sense so far? Like, I know we kind of just talked a lot, but making sense, making sense. Give me a thumbs up or like, honestly, really anything. Like,
You know, can we react to some of the things you said? Because I thought it was great. A few things, and in no particular I guess in no particular way of saying them. You were talking about a quick yes, quick no, and the only thing that's almost better than a quick yes is a quick no. So if you're pitching something and a guy say, "Hey, I'm not even interested," well, say thank you for your time and things like that. But remember, a quick no is almost as good as a quick yes. And the other thing is, don't take things personally. Because, just in what we're doing, everything we could take personally, don't. And the other thing is, one year I made a New Year's resolution that was take every opportunity. And I wrote to a guy who had written like the classic book on entrepreneurship. And I told him that I was in Ithaca near Cornell. And what I said at the end was, if you need anything done. So I offered him what I could do in Ithaca. And I'll tell you, it made a difference because he'd say, "Hey, Pam, I need this. Can you meet this guy and let me know what he's like?" And so always give something of yourself in any of these letters because they will ask you for help. And if they ask you for help, they're more interested in what you're doing. So just my thoughts. Anybody else have any thoughts on what Jeff said?
one thing to say to that, Pam, have a story, like a good narrative, like of like what you're trying to do, like who you are. Right? Like I think the reason why like people we resonate so much with like movies, Pixar, like I think Inside Out 2 just came out. It's because like it's just like a bigger story, right? Like if you're trying to do something great or you're trying to solve a really tough problem, talk about that. Like I am a 16-year-old trying to help kids like not have debt. That's a really cool
Right.
mission. That's a really cool mission, right? Like lean into that. Like talk about that. Like the fact that you are 16 and you're an underdog and you have no idea what the hell you're doing. Like people want you to succeed. And I would lean into that more, you know? Especially if you guys are in school. You guys have no idea what you're doing. And there's something charming about that. So I wouldn't run away from who you are. Like I wouldn't pretend to be more than what you are. I would be exactly who you are
Yeah.
and lean into that. That makes sense.
Even in your note, say who you are, where you go to school, things like that. Any reactions?
Any thoughts so far before we go into homework 3?
Even a short thought. I could embarrass everyone and say something. Rashid, say something. What's your thought?
I thought it was pretty cool. I liked like some of like the examples that he had that like were actual emails to like real people.
Right. Yeah, that was actually very nice, Jeff. Michael, anything from you? Any thoughts on this? Oh, wait, somebody is talking. Go ahead, Michael, and then the next person.
Sure thing. No, I definitely like the idea of just forcing yourself or at least taking initiative in like many ways. And I like the idea of facing rejection. I remember like reading about it, like it's almost like you have a rejection muscle and you want to train that muscle to like, it's cool. There's an exercise that I actually did, and it just asked me to do like go to a coffee shop and buy a drink and ask for 10% off. Just ask for it. And
Uh-huh.
I did, and he said no. And I was like, that was kind of hard, but if I felt triumphant after it, I don't know. It's just really important to know it's okay to be rejected. So that's really
Yeah.
cool.
Well, it's back to don't take it so personally.
Yeah.
You ever like you ever go to like a McDonald's and just ask for free ice cream?
No.
Like try that. Like you honestly, you'll actually be kind of shocked by the responses. Sometimes I did that. I did that twice, just like as a joke. Like one time I actually got free ice cream. It was actually the first time, and I never got it again. But you
Yeah,
never
I'm
know, right?
sure the person got fired.
People are just crazy. Like you never know. Like I think people are just down to do anything
And people
sometimes.
also are very compassionate. Like in a note that Jeff wrote when he said, excuse me, when he said that he had graduated with the lowest average, a lot of people graduate with a low average, and somehow that validates them. I mean, he could have said, hey, Jeff, so did I. Or, hey, Jeff,
Yeah.
my kid is flunking out of school. Could have said anything. But these things that make you human are things that people you speak to are going to enjoy about you.
Oh, yeah. Actually, to that point, and we'll get to you. Um, I think you can. I know this is like probably very abstract, right? So maybe like think about it in terms of dating. I like to think about it sometimes in terms of dating. Um, I think when we're like trying to find a person that like we're trying to make the other person like us, right? I think sometimes
Mhm.
we try to be perfect. We think that like this person only likes like the most perfect version of ourselves. But I think what I've found out is that people are more attracted to your rough edges. And I think that that's actually something really important, right?
Oh, that's interesting.
And if you're trying to like if you're trying to find if someone will like you or not, and similarly, you're trying to find out if this person will be your customer or not, ask for money or ask for the thing you need. And for dating, it could just be like, hey, can I get your number? Can we go out? You'll find out very quickly if this person likes you or not, right? Because I mean, yeah, you're kind of seeking rejection in a way.
You know what, Jeff? I thought of an interesting thing. I thought of every conversation I have, think of it as an interview or a date. Okay? I mean, you might be networking with somebody who needs somebody like you, and a date, he might have a daughter or he might have a son who would like you. So I would say, think of everything at that level and see how you do.
Do you want to go?
Anybody else want to react to what Jeff was saying?
Yeah, I just had a question about, so when you reach out to like these people, is it a good or bad idea to ask for like an informational interview and then like ask about their experience? Like, is it like, would you get useful information out of it, or is it a good place for like, would they accept it more because they're going to talk about themselves?
Wait, sorry, I don't think I understood the question.
Again,
So,
you
yeah, just is it a good idea to like ask about their experience or ask for informational interview so that they can, I guess, open up by sharing more about themselves? Like, is that a good idea? Or
think it's a great idea because most
Um,
people don't get personal questions. Everything's informational, transactional. And if you say something like it's interesting, I'm talking with this guy on Thursday, and all I know is that he wrote 3 entrepreneurial books. That's all I know about him. And his class was taught at the business school. And what I thought was, I would ask personal questions. The second you do, then it allows the other person to ask you, and you have an intimate conversation as opposed to a casual nothing where they say, what did that person say? And you say, I don't know. But this way you remember something like somebody's going to remember that Jeff got a 2.9 at Cornell. And they'll say, wow, how did he succeed with this? So I think that it is okay. Obviously not too personal, but something about their background, like what was the first company you failed at? Or have you ever failed at a company? And we're talking to an entrepreneur or a speaker who has entrepreneurial background.
okay, wait. You, just so I understand your question, are you asking, is it better to ask about someone's background. I'm still kind of confused by your question, to be honest. I don't
It's
think I
just
fully
a
understand.
personal question.
Yeah, yeah, and another part is yeah, I love the response of getting the conversation more intimate, but I'm also wondering, just to get the conversation started, like if you were to ask the investor for like an informational interview rather than just saying like, are you going to sponsor it? Is it better or worse?
Oh, I see. I see. I wouldn't ask for something that just isn't important. I think I would ask for favors if possible, or like ask for what you want. Um, I wouldn't just ask someone for the sake of asking something. Like I think how you want to approach it is just be like purposeful, right? Like you are someone that has a purpose. Like you're on a mission, right? Like I'm building Speak Up Ventures with or without her help. Like I don't need her help, but I wanted to build that relationship with her. But like I wanted her to be part of this. I think that's how I see it. Like I don't know what I will ask her or what I won't ask her when she comes on when she calls. I have an idea, but I'm really not thinking too much about it. I think you just want to build a long-term relationship with people, if that makes sense, right? Because chances are it's not probably not going to be one-off, or you probably don't want it to be a one-off. So I don't know. I think maybe you're looking for like a hard answer, but I feel like it's very situational, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think if you just work on something really cool and they can help you get what you want, get like people want, like I said, right, at the end of the day, like you just want to be working on something that's meaningful to you. And if they connect with it, then they connect with it. And if they connect with it, they want to help you. But yeah, does that make sense? Like I don't think it really matters if it's background or not background. Like
It's just having a warm conversation with somebody and getting something from them and they get something from you. I mean, think of it even as a level of a friendship, a friend you'd call up and just talk to them. And I think that sometimes these people have important jobs and we think that they don't have time for us. And people do have time, and it's a nice way. And as long as you're polite and gracious and you thank them enough for what they're doing, that's the main thing.
did that make sense to you? I just want to make sure your question is answered.
Yeah, yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, thank you both for your response.
Oh,
Okay.
our pleasure.
Zhang
Yanzong,
Zhu.
you
Yeah, I
finished
think Shauna
eating.
just. Oh yeah, I did. It was good. And the talk was great too. I really liked the like Michael brought up the rejection muscle thing, and he recommended a book called Million Dollar Weekend that had those exact exercises. And um I think I'm wondering in terms of the follow up. Shauna asked the same thing in the chat. Like, what's a good way to follow up without like with being mindful to their time? Like, does that mean making it shorter? Does that mean like making it longer and sharing an even like more explicit update?
Okay. To be honest, don't look for like hard rules when it comes to this kind of stuff. Do whatever feels right. Like, yeah, I wish I can give you like if you just follow these set of rules, like you'll get the response. I think it's very situational. Um, but I would just do something that feels right, right? Like, but I think what's most important is just build a relationship with them. I keep saying this word, and I hope you understand what I'm saying when I say build a relationship with someone. Like, this isn't like I'm not just reaching out to you because I think you have money and you can help me. I'm reaching out to you because I think we can work on something great, because I think what I'm working on can help you, you know? And it's like a symbiotic, like we're both going to benefit from this relationship. And however length my email is, however length it is, right? If it's too long, you don't have to respond. Then maybe the next message will be shorter. I think my point is, it's hard to know. It's really hard to know, but I think you just want to say enough. You know, like sometimes the response could just be like a question mark, right? Like, hey, just following up, or hey, I'm following up and these are some updates, and you just list the update. I think it really depends on your relationship with them, what you're trying to do. But I would say enough. Like, yeah, just say enough.
I have one other thought.
Go ahead.
After you have the initial call, thank them. Thank
Okay.
them, thank you is such a simple word, but uh, the accelerator I'm in, we have specialty mentors who talk about insurance, accounting, law. And one of the mentors said to me, he got his first thank you note from someone. So a thank you note it doesn't have to be 8 sentences. Thank you. I learned a lot. And I wonder if I could, at some point later on, approach you with another question. They're going to be so surprised they got a thank you note that they will definitely always say yes.
So I just wanted to kind of follow up on that question because I feel like in some cases it's really hard to know what feels right to do in a situation. Like usually you have a pretty good sense, but sometimes it seems like that's a little bit, mysterious. It's a bit of a an ambiguous or magical
Mhm.
step that you need to take that nobody really explains in detail. So I was wondering if you had some kind of a methodology for
Okay.
figuring out what's supposed to feel right or like how you
Okay.
gain that sense.
Yeah. It's kind of like when you're texting someone, right? Or like you're texting your crush, for example, right? There's no right way to do it, right? It's not like if I follow these steps, this person's gonna go out with me. It's not like that. But there is a wrong way to do it. And the wrong way to do it is like you trying to impress them or you trying to be inauthentic to yourself. Like you trying to suppress how you're really feeling or how you're really thinking and you're not asking you're not asking the question that you really want to ask or saying things that you really want to say. I think you can apply that same idea to reaching out to anyone, recruiters, hiring managers, investors, founders, people you want to have a relationship with. Say what you want and that's it, right? Like I think I think how I think about it is like what if I say this, am I gonna regret it? If I don't say, am I gonna regret it? Right? It's just like you just have to express yourself. I wouldn't overthink it. Again, I really would not overthink it, right? Like you ever just like overthink a message and you just don't send it? Or you're like, oh, how are they gonna respond? How am I gonna respond? How are they gonna respond? No, don't do that. Just say what you want. Like I wish it was an easier way to say it, but I think it's just that. Like just free yourself from that. Free yourself from thinking that there's a right way to craft this message that if I craft it, they will respond. Trust me, there's no way. If someone wants to help you, they will help you. Like if they don't want to help you because timing is not right, then it doesn't matter how you craft the message, they're not going to respond.
That's so true. I
Thank you.
think though, if you come across as polite, you would love to pick their brain about a certain thing. I think that's all they want. They want a little respect. It's like everybody. You want a little respect. You want somebody who cares
Yeah.
about what you are and what you've accomplished.
Um,
The author that I'm going to speak to, I haven't read any of the books, but I'm hoping that they'll somehow get into my brain. But just to say, wow, you shared all these amazing things about entrepreneurship. The last one he just wrote was very interesting. It was the emotional aspect of being an entrepreneur. And we should really cover that. It's
Okay.
whether you fail, you succeed, how well you do. Does it take a lot from you internally? I mean, there are a lot of parts.
Okay. My point about cold emailing though, right? Like I know we're kind of fixated on this for a minute, but don't do it too much. Like I think how I see it is it's just the ROI is really not that great. Like I think I got really lucky with some of these messages, but I think out of like maybe like 10 I send, all right, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's like pretty high, like 30, 4, maybe I don't know. But my point is like it's normally not that high though. Like sometimes it's not, right? I think it's very situational. It depends on what you're working on, depends on them. I think warm intros are definitely the best. Like if you went to Cornell, find someone who went to Cornell who can intro you. Like it's much easier to break into like relationships or get to know people that way. Or you went to like a certain high school, like reach out to them, right? Like it's almost always better to like reach out to someone that you know who can then help you. Even loose connections, like loose connections are actually more helpful than probably close connections sometimes because they don't know you. They know you enough, but they don't know like all your flaws and stuff. So anyways, any other last minute questions though? I don't want to spend too much time on this. Okay, we all good? Okay. Okay, so homework 3. Homework 3, I'm just gonna go over it really quickly, right? Like, how will you get your paying customers? I think it's just worth thinking about this for a second. Like, how will people actually pay you? And I know that some of you guys might not care about the money, and that's fine. But I think it's worth thinking about it if you want to make this a little bit long lasting. Like, how will the money come in? Who's going to be giving you the money, like writing the check or agreeing to giving you the money, and how will you get their attention? This is really important. Making a pitch deck. So yeah, draft out your pitch deck. We can go over the pitch deck next week, but basically it's pretty straightforward. Like, these are just the things that you should include in your pitch deck. Have a website, revise the website. Yeah, we spent way too much time on this, but we're gonna go over your homework real soon. Revise your stuff and talk to people about it. Same old, same old. I also want to hear about what you're struggling with right now. That way I can like kind of tailor week 4 and 5 based on like what you guys are going through. And set some goals, right? Like, you can follow this basically. Also set some new peers. I assigned new peers. Does that make sense so far? Like, yeah, I guess I thought there was gonna be more go over for homework 30, but seems pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, Jay, do you think it would be helpful if, people started working, even though they're working on their own company, like maybe you could work with Adam on something, just to see what their struggles are. And that's a good way of just practicing what you're having a problem with. And then if it's something, because the more you speak to your peers, especially peers who are doing the same thing you're doing, the more you're going to get out of this class and out of what you're doing.
Yeah,
So just think about it.
yeah, try to speak to your peers. That's what the assignment is for. Okay, let's jump into this. Yeah, wait, before I do that, everyone's good with homework 3, right? Like, I think it's pretty straightforward. Like, I don't, no surprises, nothing. Okay, just give a thumbs up. You're good. Okay, cool. All right, Michael, we're gonna go through your homework real quick. We're gonna go through your homework first, okay? Do you want to come off mute, Michael, and just kind of pitch your idea real quick while I kind of look at it?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I've talked about it before, and really the idea for this whole application is just a place for students to come together. And as we know, semester to semester, we join many different courses. The circles can feel kind of scattered or hard to find. And that's shown in the various group chats that are made on GroupMe or Instagram, just time and time again.
Okay.
I was thinking it'd be cool to centralize that and provide even services that could aid in forming study groups and related things like that.
Okay. Okay. How about this? Let me do this. I'll look over like I just kind of give you real-time feedback, and everyone else, if you guys also, I welcome you guys to give feedback as well. Just raise your hand and then you can just give your feedback as well. Okay, I'm just kind of looking at this, right? I feel there's a lot of words here, like just a lot of words. Meet study group, boost academic grades, performance. Honestly, this is fine. I think. What is this? This stuff? Okay. I feel like your thing is very straightforward. Like, I really wouldn't complicate it so much. Like, I think it's very straight.
Yeah, and
think
I
you
don't
just-
think
it's-
I would
it's very
have as much,
repetitive.
like, under reduced stress. I think I would just have them as captions and then say some of the things that you have underneath. Because otherwise, you're going to have people looking at your pitch deck and not listening to what you're saying.
Yeah, Pam, I'm just gonna go over it like real quick, and can
Okay,
you just
go
like
ahead.
raise your hand? Can you just raise your hand if you want to share? So with this, right? Like, yeah, personally, I think you're kind of being repetitive. Like, this is already said, and it's here already. I just wouldn't really focus on anything that's just like super obvious. I would just really be very succinct about what you're doing. Like, why do you like you have 2 join nows, it's like quite obvious that like to join your thing, you hit the join now button. You know, like I think I would just make it like one, I would make it more minimalistic. Like just get rid of all the repetitiveness. Just focus on the key points, you know, like it's I would just like make it cleaner and less wordy. Because I'm only really spending like 10 seconds on your website before I hit the back button or something like that, right? Like as most people. So I wouldn't spend so much time on it. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the Discord looks a bit different now as like
Mhm.
quite a few more things. But yeah, this is the general sense from that picture.
Okay. Who's your partner, by the way? Oh, you, right? Okay, never mind. Anyone have thoughts on this so far, like on the website?
I feel like instead of welcome to Learn Lake, make it something that just targets your target user immediately. I think you know, Learn Lake is something that they can find out after they're already like, yes, this is the problem I need solved.
But I would even like a picture. Learn Lake, you know, we know what a lake looks like, and a little sign, learn. You know, just put more pictures and less words.
Is your next step to just start sharing this and getting people on it? Because what else do you have to do?
Yeah, I'm finalizing how like the roles and channels work, which is pretty much done. And yeah, the next step is launching, which thankfully I reached out to my college advisor and a whole lot of CS freshmen are coming in, and that will be a really good outlet for launching at.
Okay. Okay. So okay. So when will that happen? Like people
Um
using it?
uh it really, the main influx of people would be around the start of school, but there are people in online classes as of now that would be a good start as well. But me sending it out to my academic advisor could be this week or next week. Yeah. I'm working with someone about making, I want a logo before I send this off. So I'm working with someone to get that done.
Okay. Yeah. Try to launch this fast, right? Like even if you can't like get those group of people on it, it might just be good for you to like just launch fast and like start testing out, like testing people actually on it, how are people using it. Again, I don't know, man. Maybe you do need people to join at the start of the semester. I don't know, but my thoughts are like you should just launch this and get people on it. So you can start getting some feedback if you can.
Yeah, for sure. I even added like a suggestion box for people to respond in the community. But yeah, overall, thank you all for your comments. The website very much I will have to rework. So thank you.
Oh,
Okay.
you're welcome.
Any other thoughts on Michael's project before we move on? Okay, cool. Also one more thing, maybe if you do want to include something, it would be good to like include like how it works, like the steps that I take to use, like to get the reward of this. Because it seems like the goal is to like get grades, right, and meet friends. It might just be good to kind of list out the steps. Again, very simple, right? It shouldn't. I should like. I think people are these days just want gratification right away. So I think I would just state like, how am I going to get the gratification from using your service right away? How long is it
Yeah,
going to take? Like, what are steps I need to do? That kind of stuff.
for sure. Yeah,
Um,
that's a great point because I added like a tutorial
mhm.
part of the Discord, so I'll move that on the website for sure. Just make it clear cut how do you use it. That's a good
Yeah.
idea. Okay.
Okay. This is Me's demo. Let's watch this together. Oh, there's no sound, huh? Okay. What are your thoughts, guys?
I feel
I
like
think it needs a little sound.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and sound is a big part of all of these videos. Just a little sound by the person who did it. and just say something, because I think otherwise I didn't understand what it was.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'd say it's less of a demo and more of like like a, a, a featuring of like basically what the person would do, but it doesn't do a great job at explaining it at all. You know, I don't have
Right.
any voiceover, I don't have any of that. But I've been willing to create something like that. One of these days.
Huh. Okay. And this is the website.
And plus it's audio chats, which is really interesting. So we should definitely have audio there.
Oh wow. Something about the size of this website just doesn't feel right.
What do
Maybe
you
it's like
mean?
Yeah, you know, I had someone reach out and tell me that they looked at my Discord bio, like just during this call, and they suggested some changes. So the scaling is, you know, I gotta work on that too.
um okay. Any other thoughts on this website or the demo? Okay, this is my thoughts, right? I think looking at the demo, I really wasn't sure what I was looking at. I think it actually took me a few times. I watched the demo a few times before this call to kind of get what was going on. I don't fully think I get it. Um, I think if there's one thing you probably focus on is probably the demo, so people know like what I'm using, what I would be using, and how this would benefit me. Um, Also not very clear what localized drop-in audio chat really means and how it's going to benefit my life. I just not very clear I think with this type of website, with this type of what you're doing, I think it'd be good to show pictures of people like actually using it. It's just very technical stuff. Like I don't really know what these logos are.
Wait,
I don't
M
know.
plus hand equals what? Equals
I don't know.
hammer?
Oh, I see.
Meetup. Okay.
I would just like I don't think it has to be this complicated, man. I think you just have to like have a video explaining what your product is and how it's going to benefit me, and like a join button. I think everything else is not that necessary. You don't have to explain what your product is. It doesn't really matter to me. Like you don't have to explain all this. I think what I really care about is just how is it going to benefit my life, you know? And like what do I need to do to get started? I think nothing else really matters that much. Someone leave the comment. Okay.
Yeah, I have a couple of media that I could show on the site that I don't already have on there, like pictures of real people from some of my meetup events or some of the Discord calls that I've had. So yeah, I could put that on there. That makes sense.
Okay.
But yeah, I agree with you. It's pretty technical.
Yeah, I would just dumb it down for people, you know, like yeah, because you know, just get to the value. What am I getting at? And also, Adam, I saw your message. Don't worry, I'll just cut your part out. So it's not part of the recording.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. But I think I think that's my initial thought. It's just like not very clear what this is.
Mhm.
I think showing people using. I think with this stuff, we just want to show people, right? Because the people join who are, I think my thinking is that people who join your program is just going to be interested in like just not feeling lonely, right? And meeting friends. I think if you just show people meeting friends and just showing them what their life can look like, I think that's really important. Like
Show a
audio drop
smile
in.
as opposed to a
It just
frown.
yeah, it just doesn't matter, you know, like who's Marco? Like I get what you're trying to do, but I think it's just too much. Um, but I'm gonna move on. But any other thoughts
You know
before
what?
I move
Let
on
me
to
just
one
say
last thought? Oh,
one thing
also,
about
how you
Marco. Jeff,
yeah,
one thing. If we had a little picture of what Marco is and what Marco's like with
yeah,
friends and without friends, a frown, a smile, something like that, you could carry that, continue
yeah,
that part.
yeah. I think Pam is around. It's just communicating what life can look like after using the product.
Right.
It's just not clear right now how my life will be different after. Like same with Michael, right? Like how is my life different when I join your community? Am I gonna have friends? Am I gonna have like a pizza hangouts?
somebody to do
Am
homework
I,
with.
am I gonna get a 4.0 GPA, right? Am I gonna get this internship at Microsoft? Like those are the things that people really care about. Like, like I think it's just, again, I think it's finding like deeply what people really genuinely need and care about. Like people want to feel good about themselves, want to find love and belonging, right? Like I would just lean into that, like, and not focus on like localized audio podcast. I don't even know. Don't focus on the feature again, focus on the benefit. And also, it's not very clear what you mean by like measure success, like how many in-person. I would just make this more tangible. And I also like to think that this is not really how you, this is not really your true success metric. I think your true success metric might just be like money. I mean, there should be some form of money, right? Or usage or, I don't know. Do you want to, you have a question or comment?
Oh no, I just wanted to say if I can go next because
Oh yeah. Yeah,
so-
where's your, oh, day. This is
Thank
not
you.
this is you, right?
Yeah, I don't
Okay, instant.
have a MVP, so the MVP.
Oh, right.
the-
Can you link it?
Yeah, let me send it in the chat. Because I send the builder link.
Yeah, yeah.
And then another thing, I find it hard to edit on DreamApp. I don't know if anyone's experiencing that after like the initial thing.
You guys seeing my screen?
You're talking about the Type Dream website builder?
Oh yeah, the type dream, yeah, the tool. Yeah, I find it hard to edit after. I mean, the generation is pretty cool, but then after
Yeah, yeah, adding or removing or rearranging blocks seems a
yeah.
little bit cumbersome there.
Yeah, very cumbersome.
You guys gotta tell Albert this.
And they're being sold to Beehive, I think. They just announced that acquisition, right?
Yeah. Okay, guys, what are your thoughts on the website? Let's hear
It
it.
looks oddly similar to Michael's.
Because it's the generation.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say like maybe you guys are Albert that like it's not super unique.
I think it would be nice if there was a picture of what this noodle is.
Yeah. There's
like
one.
a-
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, there's
And I
one. like-
get rid of the two nutritious and nutrient because there are too many, the two words.
Right.
I think we change them with something.
So like in the headings, nutrition.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just too much, those two words together. Go through a thesaurus on what other words we could say
Ugh.
quick healthy meals by nutrition experts or professionals.
Yeah.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
I have to go.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure. I loved your talk, Jeff. And anytime any of you want to chat, happy to. Bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Pam.
So, what I'm noticing, I think my initial thoughts are like, one, there's no picture. I'm just not excited by this. There's no picture. I think picture, also guys, picture says 1,000 words, right? You can tell people how not lonely and how fun your product is. Show a picture of people having fun and laughing. That's all the words you need to say. Or show a video, right? Like I don't know, whatever. But I think for this, just too many words. I think again, just show pictures, man. Like pictures probably communicate like half of all this stuff. And if you can explore now, I would just get a waitlist going, or pre-order or something like that. I really wouldn't I would just get to the point, what do you want people to do? Is that what you want them to do, just explore, or do you want their contact information? And I would just make it very easy for people to give you what they want.
Yeah, they're all
yeah.
underneath. Like if you scroll down, that's
What is this? The
yeah.
benefits?
There's and then you keep scrolling down. Like at the end,
There's more.
too.
No, you gotta include that in the font. Like James, I didn't even know there's more. Because it looked like this is it. But yeah, I would just include whatever you want people to do, like just right there.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
I look at this 5 seconds, I should know what you're trying to sell. I'm not really clear I don't even know you're trying to sell ramen if I just looked at this. I'm like, what are you trying to sell? Meals? Maybe that is what you're trying to sell, right? But I think my point is it's just not very clear what you're trying to sell, how it's going to benefit me. And sometimes you don't need to say the benefits. You can also just show it, or or say what you're gonna do or say what you do, and it's obvious what the benefits are, right? Like, I don't know. Yeah. I think with your kind of stuff, again, just show pictures, more pictures, like what your product is, the before and after pictures of people eating it, or just having people try it, you know. I don't know if you need to say all this stuff. I think it's very obvious. Like you just say like quick, nutritious, satisfying, delicious. Again, I would just use less words because chances people are not really gonna read through your entire. I mean, maybe, but like I personally would just not use too many words.
Mhm.
Yeah,
What do
because
you
you're just trying to get signups, you know. Go ahead.
what do you think of the AI generated image of the
The
ramen?
this?
Yeah.
Huh. I, I mean, now that you told me it was AI, it looks more like yeah, it looks fake. It's fine. I don't think it really matters.
Okay.
Do you think it really matters? I don't know. What do you guys chat? What do you guys think?
I didn't even notice those AI until you
Yeah.
said.
I
It
mean,
looks really good now, but yeah.
if you don't look at it too closely, it's you know, it's really appetizing. But you know, there's definitely that AI pasty looking kind of feel to it.
I think like the basil leaves just don't look right. The part.
Okay. Okay, so it sounds like there's some things wrong with it. I think if I were you, if I was doing this, right, I would just make the ramen. I would just show how you make the ramen. You know, I would honestly make a video of how you make the ramen, and like a 1 minute like a TikTok, for example, of how you make the ramen, how it's like benefit and how it benefits you, and just have your friends try it and have them tell you how good it is. You know,
But
um,
I don't know how to make the ramen. Like I don't know how to make the seasoning right now. So
it doesn't have to be perfect. Again, don't aim for perfection, right? Aim to like launch this. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like the first version is not going to be perfect. You're not going to get the seasoning right. You're not going to get like the calories right. It's just you're not going to get everything right. It's okay. I'm not the food expert, but I like to think you can just not aim for perfection and just start showing people. 'Cause you're trying to get interest, right? Like, you know, I don't know. I guess it depends on your goal. If your goal is just build a product because you think there's already going to be interest, then okay, then yeah, focus on building the product. But if your goal is just to get signups, then focus on getting signups. You know, it really depends on what your goal is.
right. What if I like so I because I bought the competitor products and I
Mhm.
tried them. Is that gonna be a good thing to include on the website, like trying the competitor product?
Um, I think okay, going back to I think it depends on what your goal is, right? If your goal is to just get signups, like to show that there is need in this and like maybe even get pre-orders.
Right.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know how legal this is. But honestly, maybe I can just switch up the packaging, you know? Like my point is, I think depending on what your goal is, if your goal is to validate that there's a need, then I would just do whatever you need to do, even fake that you have this product and just show and just get people to sign up, you know, because you're trying to show that there's people want this, you know. Does it really matter if you can make it or not? Not really. That's not what's most important, right? What's most important is that people know what you're trying to do and people like what you're doing, so people sign up. If that's what you're optimizing for, then optimize for that. But then what you find out is people are signing up and now you're trying to build the product. Okay, now you actually have to optimize for building the product. Now you have to find people who can help you build this product. Does that make sense? Like I think it depends on I think it comes back to what your goal is, like what your intentions are,
Right.
and just optimizing for that.
Yeah.
I feel like I would have to say like the competitor thing because like if you're making like just a healthier version of like instant ramen, I feel like there's not much of a flavor difference, right? So like there's not you can't really like tell like the by like comparing the two unless they like taste completely different, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because I there are healthy ramens that I bought, like Imi, like actually bought Imi, the high protein ramen, and then I find another one, um, in so I tried them, and then I have some comments about it. So
It's okay. Um, Food is interesting though. Food's really interesting. I don't know. I don't know much about food, but I do know that like how you package it matters a lot, and it might be the same drink, but how you package it, like I don't even know. Um, okay, but any other last thoughts on this project? Um, I think your project is kind of hard because not only are you like validating there's a need for it, which I honestly think there's probably a need for it. So I actually don't think it'll be that hard for you to get emails to sign. So if your goal is just to get people to sign up and like maybe even like pre-order this to show that there's a need and then go build it, I think that's probably that's probably what I would do. But I think your project is kind of hard because like you're also I don't know if something like this already exists, but if it doesn't, it means that you're kind of creating you're inventing something, and that's like I don't know. I'm not a food science guy, so I don't know, but that just sounds like kind of difficult. But because it's difficult, it's hard to have competitors. You're probably gonna have fewer competitors because it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, anything else you before we move on?
Uh, yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.
Cool. Okay. Who's next? Alex. Okay. Oh, is it your Discord?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember this one. Oh yeah, what do you guys think of this the landing page?
What is the what is
Picture's
that
cool.
reaction? Sorry. Go ahead.
Looks pretty impressive.
Yeah, I kind of like it too. I would get rid of these testimonials
Yeah.
though.
I would,
But
but I couldn't find the delete button.
what?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Or also I was trying to edit it so that it actually had like real people who did it, but then it seemed like way too much work, and the interface was so hard to work with.
Yeah. Um
But
honestly,
yeah,
I think it depends on what you're optimizing for. I think sometimes fake testimonials are fine if you're just trying to get signups. And then those fake ones can become real ones later. You know, like it's unethical, but whatever. Um, any other thoughts on the website?
It's simple and sweet. It's like straight to the point. I understood everything when I looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Can I give some thoughts? I think I'm
Yeah.
gonna add like different buttons, like change the get started to like join Discord or something,
Yeah.
and then have like an interface where they can give their information so they can sign up. Because like this page is just like it's kind of there's no like call to action or whatever
Yeah.
that you said.
Um,
And also,
Mhm.
I have no background in like website design, so I literally had no clue what I was doing. But then I like looked up like best like landing page designs, and I like basically copied, not copied, got inspired by the calm.com. I think it's calm.com, like the meditation app.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You said a lot of great things here. One, yeah, it's just copying, dude. Fuck it. Like honestly, copy the best, right? Like do not try to be original. Don't try to like I think the worst thing you can possibly do sometimes is like build something that's like completely new, like never been done in the history of the universe. And people think that's great, which is kind of interesting, right? Because like if it's never been done before in the world, like it's hard to prove that people want this. And it's also really hard because it's just never been done. Sometimes it's better to just do something that people have already done because it's working, and just kind of make it your own. So I'm a really big proponent on like getting inspiration or copying from people. And yeah, I agree. This is also really easy to understand. I also wouldn't like add too many buttons. Like I do whatever you want, right? But I think my point I'm trying to make is you don't want the user to be confused. Which button should I pick? What steps do I take? Like you want to make it so easy for people to sign up, like just walk this way. This is the path. Like this is the happy path to getting what you want. Don't even like make a decision about like, oh, should I go this way? Don't. Just give people what they want fast. If there was like a 0 steps sign up, like try to get to that level, if that makes sense. Okay, so what is your product then? Like, is it just like a community right now? Like getting people, how are you gonna actually like inspire people to
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to like work out clear. Because they're like I was talking to one of my friends about it, and like he got the impression that it was like way too many things, or like I just had this like conglomeration of different features I wanted, and like it became kind of difficult to explain, I feel.
yeah.
Because like I want the
Okay.
community and like the collaboration and also like the like uh exposure, like helping these small artists like grow bigger,
Okay.
and but like those two like missions kind of contradict, I feel. Or like I
Okay.
should focus on one first, probably.
Yeah. Um, it's a lot easier to like, it's a lot easier to help a group of people when you're focused on like a single group of people. Like it's a lot easier to help artists if you just focus on helping artists, right? Because artists like needs and problems are going to be very different from like a producer's problem and needs and goals, right? You can just provide a lot more like focus and value if you focus on one first. And the outcome is very obvious, right? It's like, I don't know enough about artists, but actually I don't know enough about any of these people. But like my point is like, if you're focused and just give people like your input and your output is very clear, right? Like input, you coming in, and then you go through like our program or our community, and then the output is very clear, like what you get out of it. And don't overcomplicate, don't oversell it, and just talk about how come in as you are and leave transformed, and just focus on one thing. I think the challenge sometimes is people try to focus on too many things and it just confuses people.
Mhm.
And also it's hard to build something that big at first because you're just gonna be mediocre at everything. You'd rather be like really, really, really strong on one thing, even if it's like just a really tiny segment. And that makes sense.
Yeah.
Got it. Any other thoughts on this before we move on? Cool, cool, cool. All right, Rashith. Let's check this out. Oh,
Where'd the audio go?
oh, you don't hear the audio?
I can't.
Do you hear it? Sheesh. That's tough. You guys don't hear the audio. Um, that's weird though, right? Because you heard the audio for the other one, no? Do you hear it? Ah, fuck. Okay. Well, I guess it's just not gonna be an audio.
Subtitles on, I guess.
Subtitles?
That's like the
Fuck.
best thing to do.
Hey, I'll just drop the link and then you guys can kind of watch it on your own, I guess.
Or I can like do like a
Um,
live voiceover.
no, don't do that. Um, okay, anyways, we can just watch this. Okay, but basically, fuck. Okay, I'm not gonna make everyone watch this because no one can really hear it. Um, I'll just give my thoughts. I think I kind of shared this on Slack. I think your voice is just very monotone, like it's just one tone, and there's not a lot of enthusiasm to it. And I'm actually kind of bored. I know it's only a minute long, but I was like, damn, maybe I should just 2.2x it because it's just very monotonous. It just sounds very boring. Um,
I recorded it at like 2 a.m.
yeah.
Like I like screen recorded like way earlier and then I took a nap and then I woke up and I was like, oh shit, I have to do this.
Um, I think it's also not very clear to me what the outcome is. Like, what do I get from this? Like, um, and I think you're focusing on students, but I think it's just not clear like who you're focused on. I think your focus is just not clear. Like if this is for teachers, if this is for students, again, I think it's just the input output is not clear. Like what kind of students are these people coming in, and then how do they after they use your product, like how do they leave out? I feel like there's a lot of features, but I would focus on just like the most important ones. Does that make sense? That's just my thoughts though. But I wish people can. Yeah, go ahead.
What?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that makes sense. I feel like I don't even know what I was gonna say. Yeah. Um.
Like it's just not clear how this benefits teachers,
mhm,
and it's not clear how it benefits students. Like I think all this is you showing me this app.
mhm. So like for the
I think
input,
it's more interesting.
I feel like it's just like you have like your regular business classes. Like when I took my business class like a while ago, they had like we do like spreadsheets and stuff, and then you just get graded on like and it was like boring and like I just didn't want to do it. So like I feel like this allows you to actually get your hands dirty on like the actual market and like you know all the unpredictability without like having to actually use money as well as like learn about it. Does that make sense?
Okay, I would just focus on that. Like, hey, why not just say that, right? Like, hey, when I was in high school, we did these like on the crazy annoying ass spreadsheets, but
Mhm.
now I built an app that like does this instead, and you can actually like get real life experience, and not fake experience. Like, you see how different that is, like of a pitch and like a
Mhm.
video, what that video might even look like. Instead of me talking about my app and like how amazing this app is, like you should download this app.
Mhm.
Why not just talk about like, hey, I'm just like you. I went through this problem and I know it's a big problem, and I want to solve it for you. You
Mhm.
know, if you're interested in this app, join this app, like download this app. It's not really about your app, right? It's about how you can transform people's lives. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. I just don't focus so much on your solution, man. Like, don't be so attached to it. Um, yeah. All right. And I would just focus on one outcome. Like I know it's tempting to like like solve the world's problems. But I think how you might want to think about that is like trying to boil the ocean. Don't boil the ocean, like just focus on like a small little section of the water and boil that. And then after you boil that, you can boil other parts of the ocean, you know. But you can't boil everything all at once. It just feels confusing. Um, and you're also never gonna launch this because this is huge. It just takes forever. So just focus on something that's like small that you can just launch right away and that actually benefits people, right? Like if it's the simulation thing, then like find people who are interested in the simulation and just do that and focus hard on that and like actually make that a good experience. Like no more like teaching people. Like, it's just waste time. If you want to teach people, then focus only on teaching people.
Mhm.
Like what's the simulation for, right? Like get that right first,
Okay.
like get the most important thing right, so you can do other things. It's like trying to build the Empire State Building, but you don't have the foundations for it. It's gonna be wobbly and it's probably gonna
Mhm.
you're never gonna build it. You're just
Yeah.
never gonna build the Empire State Building if you have weak foundations.
Yeah, I was trying to like port it to like web, so like we actually have like a web version that I can like just have because like to put it on the
Don't
app store is gonna be like a lot of work.
don't talk to me about technology. You're not focused on technology right now. Like you're
Mhm.
just too focused on technology.
Mhm.
But talk to me about like what do people need? What are people asking you to do? What are the problems that teachers have? If you're selling teachers, what are the problems that they have? Why are students having a hard time learning this? Why don't they use your app? What have they tried before? Do not talk to me about websites, desktop, web. I don't care. Don't talk to me about your stack. I don't care. Doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything.
Mhm.
What I care about is why people want to use it. How are you gonna transform the teachers' lives? How are you gonna touch the kids? That sounded wrong.
What?
The point is like how are you gonna help people? Like not your technology. Make sense? Like I don't care how many modules you have, like or the simulation, how realistic it is, or how amazing your UI looks.
Mhm.
Just No, it's not important. Any other questions about this before we move on?
No, I mean that makes sense. Good.
Makes sense? Cool. Yang Zong. Oh, what is this?
What's up?
Oh, okay, this is a
Oh,
screenshot.
that's a really, yeah, it's a really rough screenshot.
Okay, let's check this out. Okay. Okay, what are your thoughts on this website, guys?
It's pretty cool. I feel like it's very like visually interesting.
Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna share my thoughts on this. So I feel like this is a problem I'm also kind of dealing with as well, or I feel like I only recently fixed. Um, so if you go on the Speak Up Venture website now, there's like a parent button. Fuck, this website's not loading. Fuck me. Okay, but there's like a parent button, right? And you click into it, like it's a very different UI, very different experience, and it's because it's targeted for very different people, right? There's not a lot of like colors, it's just very to the point, right? Because I'm kind of targeting Asian moms, and there's like a translate to Chinese button, right? And then there's like a student, and the student experience is very different, right? The reason why I say this is because I think this vibes. This is very vibey. I think this works really well with students. I don't know if it converts the same with the other side of the market, like if it's hiring managers or CEOs or whoever you're trying to reach.
So it's
Um,
interesting, like
yeah.
I was scared about the same thing. I showed this to like a sales consultant lady that's been a good mentor for this and a tech recruiter, and they don't really mind the casual language.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it's more
Then
so like
screw it.
they were more worried
Yeah.
about like the offerings that I was giving out. But I do think it's something that we're gonna need to like continuously like check in on and see if it translates well. Um, because yeah,
Um,
it is casual, it is studenty, vibey.
I mean, it's fine, right? If again, these are just our thoughts, right? Like, but the market's king. Customers are king. Like, if customers saying it's fine, then it's fine. For now, right? But they said offering. What do you mean? Like, they're more concerned about that?
Like, when I was saying that like don't like it, don't pay, they were all like, no, do not do that, which was very interesting to me. But they were just saying there's too many difficult customers or clients that you're gonna have to face that if you set that bar even from the beginning, it's just not gonna be a good ride.
Okay. Um, I think you talked about like how you're meeting a lot of interesting people, and now you're just trying to get them to say yes, right?
Yeah, it's like it's actually funny. Like we've gotten two people that have been like, as soon as the website's ready or as soon as you've got students, I'm your guinea pig, which has been kind of cool. Now it's like, um, I'm working on this with another girly, and we were so close to actually posting about it on LinkedIn, like an application for students to apply to, and then we got kind of nervous
Why'd you guys get nervous?
because it was like it just felt so official. We're like, I don't know if it's ready yet. Like, I don't know if the application is good enough. I don't know if the website makes sense enough. Like,
So what did we just talk about though?
I know, yeah. I
You're
think
never
it's a
gonna
good
feel
point.
ready. You're never gonna feel ready. Like I can't tell you how many times I launched something and I'm like, fuck, there's a typo, or fuck, I didn't include this question. It doesn't matter. Just you're probably gonna relaunch again in like a month or a few weeks or next week. Um, and sometimes it's okay to even like relaunch it, like be like, hey, I forgot to add this question. I just wouldn't put so much emphasis on the launch. I think how I think about the launch is sharing what I'm working on. And sometimes it's good to keep sharing what you're working on, or it's just staying relevant, Sometimes like I remember this one time, like I just kept messing up the application button, like application link. I just kept messing it up. So I just kept sending emails to like thousands of people that I keep messing it up. And it's fine. Who cares? I just want to get it right. I might have looked stupid, but who cares? It really doesn't matter. Like I think it really doesn't matter. You're gonna be launching this over and over again because you gotta have to try to get it right. And people will tend to forget. And it's kind of cool because you can see how it evolves.
Right.
You're gonna launch it or what?
Yeah, I think like we have a LinkedIn post, like the draft and everything ready. It's just, I think sh- I- we just need to get on a call, and I'll make it a priority to like just do it because I feel like we both got kind of nervous, but we've been getting like good feedback on the website too from
Yeah.
the like different people, and I think even that can be just the final push to be like okay. And we got like one student that I randomly cold messaged because he messaged asking for internships on the eShip thing, and he like actually responded to the survey. So I think if we just start making student profiles that way, like I don't know, I think maybe we've been worried, oh, if there's no student profiles on the thing, then it's not ready. But what I heard you say before is just make a wait list and people will like be fine.
Oh
Or
yeah. It's really not that deep or that serious, you know. Just get people to sign up. Honestly, people might not sign up, and it's fine. It's like, who cares if people don't sign up or they do sign up, right? If they don't sign up, that's a signal. And like, go talk to people and get them manually to sign up, right? Um, like it sounds like people are reaching out to you. Just get them to sign up, you know.
right.
I would say like if people are telling you that like, hey, I'm interested in this, let me know when it launches. That's honestly not a good sign. I think what you should do, like I remember how I said like every conversation should have a strong yes or no. And I think for you, I think what really matters is, can you just put a deposit down, or can you sign up for this right now? You know, can you start using it? I think I don't think people like, okay, this is something I personally think. I don't think people like, I don't think people like it when you say that this will exist. I think the mentality that maybe you want to have is this already kind of exists. This already exists. And we're just kind of trying to push it further, you know? Like it's not that cool when you say I am about to build this, or I'm building this. I'm launching this, you know? And sign up right now, you know? Like I think that's it. Like give them an incentive to sign up right now. But I think my point is you just need to be open to people potentially telling you, I don't want this actually. I know I told you how great the website is and how great this idea is, but I actually don't want this. Or this doesn't really meet my need. Or I don't really actually want to sign up for this. I think you do want to put yourself in that position of being rejected, because that's the only way you're going to really know the truth. Is if you ask those hard questions, right? Like, and it's also about doing the hard things, right? It's about launching and potentially no one signing up, or no one liking it, or no one seeing it. Those are real things. I think it's just you're just being okay with rejection in just about all areas of your life, you know?
Mm. I guess then what do you think is then preventing a person from uh just signing up or just seeing that it's real? Like more specifically, if I had a guy be like, as soon as you're ready, let me know. I'm looking for help with email push notification management, blah blah blah. Like what does that say about my site? Am I being not clear enough about the like call to action?
Yeah, I think you're just not telling them how to get started. Like they're
Okay.
telling you, let me know when I can get
Right.
started. And you got to tell them you can get started right now. And this is how you get started right now. It's like you're not telling them that this already exists. You're telling
Mm,
them like they're getting the impression that you're still working, like this still does not exist yet. Like this is not a real thing
right.
yet. But you got to tell them, no, this is a real thing. Like you can sign up right now. And this is how you do it.
Right.
You know, and this is
No,
what will happen.
I think that's a good point because I was like, oh, we're currently onboarding our students, which means like we're gives the impression that I'm still working on it rather than like, oh, it's already happening.
We're onboarding students. Um, I think sometimes it's good to put some like pressure on people, like, you know, just to like kind of see if people are actually interested in what you're doing. Like for example, I think in one of my emails that I was like trying to follow up with, where is it? I don't know, is this one? Okay, anyways. Oh, it's this one. Like I wasn't really getting a response from this recruiter, and I just told him like, hey, like I'm recruiting for other, I think it was like around this one. I'm interviewing for other companies right now. like, I'm looking to make a decision soon, right? I think the idea is that you do want to put some pressure on people, and whether it's real or whether it's not, that's a different story, right? But my point is like, I think you need the yes or no. You know, are you going to use it or no? You're not. It's kind of like if you like someone too, right? You kind of want to find out very quickly if they like you or not, you know? And part of it is just asking what the thing that you want or you need. You want them to sign up, ask them to sign up. You know, just don't be afraid to do it. Like I think maybe people are, I'm okay, I can only speak for myself, right? Sometimes I don't ask for things because I'm afraid if I ask for this and they reject me, then there will be no more relationship, or
All right.
I can't ask again, or I can't relaunch this. I'll look stupid. Honestly, it's okay to look stupid. It's okay. Okay, it's not okay to look stupid, but like, I think what you have to recognize is that a no just means a no at this moment, and like for this current offer, you know. So you can always come back to them a week later with a different offer, you know, and it's completely different now. But I think you just have to be okay with like being rejected. I think we're just not okay with being rejected. I think we're just, because we're like high achievers, right? Like we like to succeed. But it's okay. Does that make sense? I don't know. Or is that too high level? I can like talk more specifics.
Yeah, no, I think it's just a lot about just the fear of getting started. I feel like, especially because it's been going on so long, it's like, what? Like, no, this is not like, I don't want the first impression that people have of it to be the only impression they have, but I feel like there's going to be no impression if nothing does happen. So, um, yeah, I think it does need to launch like this week.
Yeah, and also don't be so like I think this all maybe also comes back to like being attached to your idea. It's like, oh my God, like if no one likes my idea, then then I gotta go do something else. I don't know. Does that mean like my idea is not good? Does that mean I'm not good? I think if you're too attached to your idea, it's like not that good. I think maybe just be more focused on like, I'm trying to build this to help people. I want to see if people would like this help, you know? And that's really it. Like, and maybe it's the mentality of like, I don't really need signups. I just want to test out if people will sign up. You know, I think I look at things as like kind of an experiment sometimes. Like sometimes I say things to see people's reaction. I don't really just say it just because like I say it. Sometimes I just want to see people's reactions when I say something, or if something happens. You know, and I think maybe the mentality is like you're just trying to observe reactions, like how people will react, you know, when they see your website. Are they going to click into it? Are they not going to click into it? I think looking at it a little bit more scientifically maybe might help you not be so invested in it emotionally.
I see that.
Yeah, I think it's just an emotional investment. Just don't be so emotionally attached to it. It's like not a big deal. People say no, people say no. Doesn't mean they won't say yes eventually. It just means that the now is just not a good time right now, and it's okay. Yeah, just go with the flow. All right, any other thoughts on this before we move on? Cool. All right, Austin. Is Austin still here? Austin's not here, but we can like still give him feedback. Okay. All right, he just says, actually, I don't think he has anything, so we can't really give him feedback. What is he saying? I am discussing my idea and MVP thoughts with another student. API based on SQL. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Austin, if you're watching this, I think my thoughts are you just have to get started and talk to the right people. I don't think another student is really going to help you find out if your idea is worth doing or not. I think you need to talk to like the actual people who would use your stuff and buy it. Okay. Alec. Actually, yeah, wait, let me get everyone else's thoughts on this real quick. What are your thoughts on this though? Like, I kind of just gave my feedback, but I want to hear what everyone else thinks as well.
It's a cool idea, but I mean, like, I have to like see it to like, you know, understand it better.
I don't really remember what project he was working on, So it doesn't seem like he really shared his project idea here though.
Yeah.
Was he
It's just
the
not.
onboarding guy? Like the using AI to help onboarding?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not very
Yeah, I
clear what
mean,
he's working on.
well, I mean, this kind of project is not for us, or like he's not trying to target us.
No,
But
but you're going to have to explain these things to people who are not technical either.
yeah, I guess yeah, he did say he was like gonna market to like the HR people. So yeah, probably a little more
Okay.
explanation.
Okay. We can move on from this. Okay. This is Ali's project. He's doing some tutoring thing. No one's loading. All right. What are your thoughts, guys?
It's chill. I feel like there's always like a lot of text, but I mean like I think that just might be type dream.
Wait, what? What does that even mean? There might
Like
be a
it
lot of
generates
text.
the text for you, right?
Mhm. But that doesn't mean you can't delete it.
Well, yeah, but I mean like maybe I don't know if everyone's like editing it up because from what I've heard, it's very difficult to edit with. I haven't used it, so I wouldn't.
No, you can definitely delete text now. But okay, my thoughts initially. Okay, guys, what are your thoughts on this like website and also this project overall?
I mean, like to me, the header is pretty clear what I'm getting out of it. I like that part of it. Better way to get grades you can be proud of. Maybe you could touch up on the wording a little bit, but at least that is kind of clear. Just from reading that, what this product would help me do, the value proposition. How it does it, I'd have to, look at the website a little bit more.
Did me cut off for some people as well, or just me?
What?
Did,
Can you
did-
hear me?
I don't know if it's just me that cut out. Like,
Yeah, I think I heard you fine.
oh, shit, okay, maybe it's just me then. Okay. So it sounds like it's not very clear to you like what he's selling, right? Or how he's gonna do it.
Well, not very clear because like I only like the header. Um, but it's clear to me what it would do, whatever that is.
Okay. Any other thoughts on this?
Can we see the rest of the?
Okay. All right. Let me hear it.
Seems like a lot of stuff for like something that's very like straightforward. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Too much going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
What else?
I'm confused on if it's a product or a platform.
Yeah, it's not clear what it is or what the product is.
Like I like that it tells me straight away what I'm getting out of it, but then I can't figure out really like what it how it's doing that, I guess.
Yeah, like what it is.
Yeah, I wanted to add on to that. I think somewhere it said meditation or motivation or something like that. There's just a lot to read through, look at, kind of appreciate more pictures. But yeah, I didn't really get the gist when you scroll through everything. I think the most clear part is just, the front, the value proposition, and then everything else might need a revision.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is fine. Like this just tells me what I'm getting, which I love. But it's not very clear what the product is or how it's gonna help, like how it's gonna work. And you don't have to explain like everything how it's gonna work, but I think it is good to just explain like very generally how I can get started on this and like look, I want to believe this is true. Like I want to believe that there's this thing that can just give me like good grades, but I need to know like how it kind of works a little bit, right? Like this is like the ethos parts. Wait, is it ethos? No, this is like the pathos, right? The emotional part. Like I want to know that I want this to be true. Like this is amazing. This makes me feel hopeful. Like logically, I just don't see how this is like how does that actually works. Yeah.
I feel like one other thing, I feel like this might just be like preference, but I feel like the color scheme of like the website doesn't really match
Yeah.
like what he's trying to do. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I don't think it does either. Okay. Any last thoughts on this before we move on? Okay. All right, Adam.
Wait,
Are
Jeff.
you the last one?
Oh, I gotta go.
Oh, okay. See you, man.
Yeah. Thanks for all the feedback.
Yeah. Is Adam here? I just want to make sure
Yep,
he's here.
I'm still here.
Okay. Okay, Adam, we're gonna stop recording for you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Am I still sharing my
Ready for
screen right
this
now?
one? Mochi.
No, it was like never specifically emoji.
Oh my bad.
Oh, wait a minute. What? Oh, my photo isn't showing up here.
For what?
My photo that I uploaded to the website isn't showing up. It's supposed to be like a custom photo.
Oh, did you hit on publish?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm getting burnt right now. Like I'm like sitting at the sun. Holy shit. What? Sorry. Do you want to republish it then? Or
Well, let me see if I can do that then.
I think you probably just didn't publish it.
Hmm. Publishing. Please wait around 2 minutes for your site to be published to.
Oh my god. 2
Feel bad for
minutes.
Albert. He's gonna be like so sad that everyone's critiquing his typing and stuff.
No, feedback is good actually. Actually, if you want to reach out to like a founder, give them feedback on the product. That's like the best way because that's what they care about, right? They want their business to be good. So
Yeah.
giving feedback is actually a really good thing.
Well, is Albert even going to be working on TypeDream anymore since it was sold?
I think he's I have no idea. I think he's leading engineering right now for Beehive.
Okay.
Okay. Is this refreshing or?
Well, that's that's not how it should be appearing.
All right, I'll come back to you then. I'm just gonna move on to
Okay.
Shwarna. Shwarna here? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so quiet today. I didn't even know you're here. What am I? Oh, 10 minute English. What are your thoughts, guys?
It sounds catchy. I don't know what exactly it is, but I feel like I know.
I had a problem with editing the website thing. Like nothing, I couldn't do anything. All they asked me is for a name, and it just generated on its own.
Is this still TypeDream or something else?
No, this is not TypeDream. I was using Ghost because this guy recommended a YouTube that's really good, and he
Oh,
uses
okay.
it.
Did you know if he was sponsored or not?
Ooh.
I didn't use his link, so but he said he's like well known. Ali Abdal, do you guys know him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, him.
He sells a lot of stuff.
He does, but I didn't use his link. I went on my own. He said he didn't need the pennies. So I was like, okay.
That's how they get you. That's how they get you. They say they
No,
don't need the pennies, so you click the
no,
link.
he
It's like
the link is below and you guys can use it, but I don't need those pennies, so I didn't use his link. I went on my own and which was trying to find. And yeah, I couldn't edit anything, so this is all I have.
was it free or
No, I had to put in my it's like $9 a month, I think.
yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. I don't know, man. Try TypeDream.
Is that
think
free?
Type-
No.
It's like free. If you want a custom domain, then no, it's not. But it's like
Otherwise-
free enough.
Free enough. Okay.
It's free to help you get started.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll try that. But I tried that too, actually. I don't know. I don't know how to do this.
What are your thoughts on the website, guys?
I feel like
The name is good. Oh,
yeah, no, I feel like I see what you're trying to get at, and I feel like you did a good job at, you know, the idea. The idea is good, on the right path.
The execution needs work. Yeah.
Well, so what's the idea exactly?
Yeah, so it's like helping people in Bangladesh and like usually countries that don't have a high English proficiency rate to learn English faster and more effectively, so that they
Oh.
can land better job opportunities and just be able to collaborate with like foreigners. Like most people speak English for the most part.
Wow.
I feel like one thing I have to say though is like it's a little unclear. Like I like the 10-minute English thing is like popping out, but I mean like I'm not exactly sure what it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so either have to offer like a tutoring service or create some kind of like resource so that they can also like learn on their own. Somewhat like Duolingo, but Duolingo you have like all these languages, and I know like there's many people who don't know Duolingo exists. But for mine is specifically like targeting English. So I think initially I'll offer tutoring services, and if yeah, that's my plan.
I agree. I think it's a little unclear what you're like what it is. Like if I just stumble on your website, I don't really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. I think my thoughts are I think in the beginning, I think it's okay to be like very specific about who you're trying to help. Like almost talking to them, right? Like if you're trying to help people from Bangladesh, I would just say it like, hey, we teach people from Bangladesh English in 10 minutes. You know, I would just say exactly what you're doing and who you're helping. Like for example, me, if you're like trying to help people in Austin, like who are founders, who are in their 40s, find friends, I would just state exactly that. We help founders who are in their 40s find friends. Like
Okay.
I just really wouldn't like sound too big or sound too broad or I think sometimes being very specific about what you're doing, like because if someone who actually want or is looking for that or wants that, if they read that, they're like, oh wow, that's interesting. I think it's okay to be like very specific about and like to the point what you're doing.
That makes sense. Yeah, but this website definitely needs a lot of work, and I'll get to it. Thank you.
Honestly, don't be so hard on yourself. I actually don't think it needs a lot of work. I just think it needs to be
It
like
needs. No, I mean being more specific. Like honestly speaking, like yes, Bangladesh is like my main target, but it's not like I don't want to help anyone else. You know what I mean?
I know I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I think it goes back to like boiling the ocean, right? Like it's actually a bad idea to try to help everyone. Like imagine your high school was filled with not just kids who are, I don't know, what age to what age, 14 to 18. It was filled with everyone. What is this? You know, it's not even like, what are you trying to tell people to do? You know,
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
it's just being very focused on like who exactly you're trying to help. Because like different people have different goals and different intentions, right? And different challenges. And it's just hard to serve everyone. It's hard to like give everyone a good experience. And if you can't give everyone experience, you basically give no one a good experience. But it's much better to just focus on like a small group of people who have like similar goals, similar challenges, than it is to like help everyone.
So in this line of thought, do you think I should only be targeting like a specific age group or like just people in Bangladesh in general?
I think that's up to you. I think that's up to you, like what you want to do.
Okay, then if I do target multiple age groups, then I could have like a beginner, intermediate, and advanced level, something like that.
Yeah, but you got to start somewhere, right? So
Yeah, yes.
like my
So I
point is
think,
it's okay to start very, very small.
yeah, so for then I think I would start with kids.
Then start with kids, right? Like
Yeah,
then say that like we help kids from Bangladesh like learn English, you know?
Got it. Okay.
Like kids meaning like I don't know, age 10 or whatever. I don't know. But you saw how much more specific that is. Like that way, like if someone else sees that, like, oh, I know a kid. Oh, I have a kid. I know some kid who's from Bangladesh who's like at this age. I can share with her. I can share this with her.
Okay.
it's just better if people understand what you're doing. And it's okay that you're not doing everything for everyone.
Mhm.
It's actually just much better. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I really like your mindset when it comes to like all of this entrepreneurial stuff. I think it's useful. Thank you.
I think the thing is like it's not just Bangladesh. You gotta think you gotta step back. Bangladesh is like a whole country. There's like probably like millions of people that live there. So, like, you know, if I like just focusing on Bangladesh isn't like just a small.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think what you'll notice is that like even like kids from Bangladesh, right? Like they're like segments. Like maybe it's like autistic kids that like find this really valuable, right? Or maybe it's like kids who like, I don't know, like really wealthy kids from Bangladesh. I don't know. My point is like, my point is like, if you look at the market as like a circle, they're like thinly sliced circles with like thinly slices within that circle that represent like different segments of a population. You know, if you look at like a population as a circle, does that make sense?
Hmm.
Like you can cut up the like it's like cutting an apple, right? If like a population is an apple, you can cut that apple up. And like and what you're trying to do is like find the slice of the apple that's like the thinnest that you can like help the most.
Hmm.
It's okay if you don't help the entire apple.
Right.
The apple analogy is kind of falling short, but
It's
hold on, it kind of
good.
makes sense though.
Yeah, no, it made sense. No, it wasn't following.
Okay.
Thank you.
Um,
Yeah.
but
There's
yeah,
the about page and the home page above that just generated everything on its own. I don't know.
okay. For the about page, I think it's kind of cool if you just share a little bit about you. I think part of this, I don't know, personally, I think with like startups, I think it depends on your startup, but sometimes I feel like it's good if you share who you are and like why you're working on this, why you care about it.
Okay.
Because it's cool to hear why someone is pulled or feel compelled to work on something, you know?
Mhm.
And sometimes it usually you're probably compelled to it because of a problem that you personally have experienced. And if you talk about it, people can relate to your problems. You know, like I talked about how like I had a 2.9 GPA, right? I didn't really have a 2.9 GPA, but like my point is like I talked about that. And then people can who also have low grades can relate to what I'm going through, you know? And my point is like I think for the about page, it's good to humanize yourself a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Like you don't want to come off as this guy that's just trying to sell something, which you're not, right? You're actually there's actually a purpose for what you're doing. So it's sometimes you need to be heard. Like I don't know. I think I just see a lot of really smart people that never really tell their story. And I think part of life, like I think 90% of life is your narrative. You know, like the reason why you're reaching out to someone is because you want them to be part of your story, you know?
Mhm.
Like you have a goal. Like if I don't know, maybe this is obvious, right? But I think sometimes it's good to think of yourself as like the main character of like a story that you're trying to do. I know it sounds narcissistic, but sometimes it's good to think of yourself as like you're this main character and you have these challenges and but you have a goal that you're trying to reach and you're just trying to find people who can help you, like help guide you along it. And people want to be your guide, like especially really successful people. They do want to help you because they like giving back. But you have to tell your story in a way that's like interesting enough for them to help you, right? Like all the mentors that we have, they're down to help, right? But sometimes they want to feel like you are going to be great no matter what, and they want to help you be great, or be greater, you know. But if you're someone who actually is not going to be great, and is reliant on people, that has no like narrative, like it's just why would I help you? It's just not interesting enough for me to help you. You know,
Mhm.
make it interesting for people, you know.
Right.
But sometimes it's just making it interesting for people, you know, like why would they want to join, right? Maybe because you know what it's like. Maybe you came from Bangladesh, and
Mhm.
so you know what it's like to not speak English and how it was a challenge for you, and how you had to do X, Y, Z to get into Cornell. And now that you're at Cornell, now that you feel very privileged, now you want to get back and like uplift your community. You know, you see how much more powerful that is of a story,
Yeah.
and you can reach out to other people who are Bangladesh and ask them if they want to help out because you're on this mission and you're asking them if they want to hop on this rocket ship with you. It's gonna leave no matter what, like with or without them, but you want them to be a part of it, you know?
Yeah, I do have like friends that are from Bangladesh that I think might be willing to help out as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
If like from the beginning, so in terms of like starting off, I think it would be free, and then once we like get some like trust, I guess, in that aspect, you could start like generating some kind of money.
Just have a plan for it, right? Like how many customers do you need to start generating money? Like what do you need to start generating money? Just be like, I would just suggest being very like intentional about what you're doing, you know? Like what are the metrics that you need to hit? What are the milestones you need to hit to get money? You know, and it's okay to be wrong, but just having a guide.
Mhm.
That way, if people ask you, how are you gonna make money from this? Or how can I help you? You have a vision, like you know how they could potentially help, right? And people will tell you if it fits in their schedule or not, or how you can accommodate them because they want to be a part of it. But it starts with you having a vision of what you want this to be.
Yeah, thank you. I think like maybe after having at least 20 students to join or something like that. And then I also know that a lot of people are not as wealthy. So in that aspect, I do have to like think a little more.
Sometimes with not with this kind of stuff, look, there's a few ways you can do it, right? Like you can make it a nonprofit and help the poor. I've also seen people just help the rich, and then once they have money, they help the poor. You know,
Oh, that's cool.
so sometimes it depends on who you're talking to. Some people will tell you to follow the money, and like because you know if you want to philanthropy takes money, you know, and it's a lot
Mhm.
better to have money than not have money.
No, yeah.
So I think it depends on what you want, right? Like what you want this to be. Like there's no right way to do it. It's only like the way that you want to do it. Make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Any other thoughts on this, guys? Or anything I said, like I think you're the last one. So I don't think we have anything else. Yeah.
I mean, I like the fact that in the presentation you emphasize not taking things personally. I think that's like the main thing that I'm taking away from this whole entire program in of itself, because I do think I take some things personally, but like hearing your like mindset about just like offering value to people, like you have nothing to gain from them. It's like you were trying to help them out. And just the aspect of like just reaching out to people, you don't know who you're gonna meet. Not taking things personally is very helpful for me. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think if you take things too personally, you just never do anything because
Yeah.
you'll find everything offensive. Oh, this person opened my email but didn't respond 15 minutes later. They must not like me. You think that things are not rejections are rejections.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't think that. First of all, I wouldn't even care. Like I wouldn't even give it any energy. I think you're right. Like I think it just comes down to like you believing that you don't need anything from anyone, which you don't. Like you'll be perfectly fine, right? Like, but you want them to be a part of it. Like you want to build a relationship with them. So that's why you ask for favors. It's not because you need it. It's because you want to build a relationship with them, you know? Like that's why you're asking for it. Or that's why you like I think just always be in the mentality of I'm here to give. I'm not here to like take things from you, you know, even when you're in school, right? Like I'm in this class to give the professor like a great experience teaching me or whatever. The point is like it's just a mentality thing, right? I'm not here to just like take. I'm here to give, right? Like I know some people are applying to college. You should apply that same mentality. Like I'm not just at this university so I can like take the prestige or take the resources of what this university can give me. I'm here to bless this university. Like I'm here because I know I'm going to be amazing, and I think this university can help me be amazing. And this is how I can help the university back, you know, and like how I'm going to help the community, how I'm going to uplift the world. Like I think that's the mentality you should always have. Same with your building your company and talking to people. It's just like I'm here to help you, not the other way around. I will never need your help. Like if it came to that, right, I don't need your help. Like we can never talk again, and it's perfectly fine. I'll be fine. You know, me launching this does not matter. You liking it or you not liking it, you reacting to it, you sharing it. I'll ask you to share it, you know, and you're welcome to do it. But if you don't do it and you ghost me, it's fine. I'll probably reach out to you again in a month for another favor. And if you don't respond, that's fine.
Do you recommend if someone didn't respond to your first message or text, whatever, at all to reach out again?
I think it depends, right? Like it's like a girl or a guy that you like not responding to you after your first message. You can reach out again. Probably not gonna do it a third time, right? I think it depends, situational.
I see.
But even if you do reach out, right, I wouldn't just reach out with like a hi or hey. I would reach out because there's something happening. You know, like there's an update or there's something I think would be really cool for you to be part of, or you know, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Like I wouldn't just reach out for no purpose. You know, and how is it gonna benefit me? You know, I used to care a lot what people think or say. Like they're like literally in calls I had with investors where I choked, like literally choked because I was so nervous and I couldn't get my words out. And the meeting was being recorded, so that was just like just extra nerves. And I would be so afraid to text them afterwards, or like so afraid to message them. And it really and they just ghost me, right? And I think part of it is just like I think you just learn to develop, like it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter, and people are very forgiving. Like people can reject you 7 times and not respond to you, but the moment you have something amazing to offer, they'll respond to you. Or people are other people in their friend group start thinking that you're cool, they'll respond to you.
Wow. Okay.
I think it's just like that, like right, like if you can't benefit me, I'm probably not gonna respond. But hey, if you can benefit me, I might respond. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I think the mentality is just try to be useful, like, and people are very simple. Like people are very very simple. I wouldn't really complicate it. Like people just want money, prestige, like I don't know, like people want very simple things, right? Like they want sex, like they want belonging, like they want relationships, they want to not feel lonely, they want to not feel pain, they want pleasure. Like people are very 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 simple. I really wouldn't complicate it so much, you know.
Yeah. And also the fact that you said people are busy, because like as like students, we're not as busy as like someone doing a job or going.
Um,
That's important too.
I
I
think
don't
it's
know.
also
Yeah,
oh,
sorry.
go
No, you
ahead.
can.
I think sometimes people just ask for like sometimes even if people want to help, people do like by default want to help, but it's just not clear how someone can help you, you know? So I think sometimes students reach out for a coffee chat. Why the fuck am I giving you a coffee chat? What is this coffee chat going to lead to? Like you asking for like a referral? Sometimes like, you know, it's just not that useful. I think sometimes just being direct about the referral or if there's like a specific question that you need to ask, just ask it. I think sometimes people just want to meet people for the sake of meeting people. And like successful people just don't want to waste their time like that. Like you ever just people just go to networking events just to network? Like what is the intention with this, you know? Are you trying to make friends? Like are you trying to find investment? Like what is the goal of this, you know? Build your company, don't network. Like just build something cool and people will come to you. Okay, I'm gonna take a break here because I don't want to like lecture or anything, but does that kind of make sense to everyone? Like what are your thoughts on what I'm saying today?
Everything is very useful, and I like it. Yeah.
What
By
about
the
the
way,
rest of
can
you
you
guys?
share the presentation?
Yeah, I'll share it. What about the rest of you guys? Like, I just want to hear your thoughts on today's talk. It's okay to disagree with what I'm saying too. Like, these are just my experiences and what I've seen. It's not the truth, right? Like, this is what I've noticed.
Yeah, hey, I think it's very important to have audacity. I think that's one word that could sum up kind of the willingness to go through all these embarrassing things. Because otherwise, if you never get out of your comfort zone um, to get the results that you're looking for quickly, then you're not going to be able to validate that there's a need for your product or your idea or the problem. I think there's another Silicon Valley term called few people don't scale, right? And a lot of that requires a level of like audacity that we're not comfortable with. So that might be cold emailing, that might be DMing random people or going up to people in person or whatever it is. Doing things that don't scale isn't achievable by sitting in your room coding for the whole week. Um, so in the early days, it's very important to have, and well, especially in the early days, but even throughout your career as an entrepreneur, it's something that you always have to have. My guess.
There's this saying that I really like. It's called fortune favors the bold. I've noticed that when I was younger, I was a lot bolder. Like I'll look, because preparing for this presentation, I had to look back at like my old text messages and stuff. And I was like, damn, I cannot believe I said this kind of stuff. I noticed that like as I've gotten older, I'm a little bit more risk adverse. Maybe because I feel like I have things now that can fail, or I feel like, like it's a lot easier to like beg for things or ask people for things when you have nothing. But once you start having an Ivy League degree, or you start having this like 6-figure job, or you start having a reputation or whatever, you become a little more afraid because you become more risk adverse. You think you have something to lose. I guess I want to tell you guys you don't have anything to lose. Like I think that's the honest truth, right? Like you can lose your 6-figure job, you can lose all the money, you can lose your housing, you can lose just about anything, and you'll still recover. Because if you're real like that, like you're like legit, like you'll always be legit, like if you can be valuable, like a valuable person, and like create valuable things for people, like you can lose everything and you'll be fine. Like billionaires, like Donald Trump, for example, right? Maybe he's a bad example, but like there's a lot of like really successful people that have lost it all completely and gain it back. And I think those are the more like those are the really interesting people, not the people who are like one-hit sensations. Those are not that interesting to me. I think the people who are like really like can create something that benefits the world, I think that's cool stuff. Yeah. Any other thoughts though? Like I want to hear everyone's thoughts on like today's lecture.
Well, that was a very good lecture as before, and I think that pretty much everything that you said makes sense. But I guess I would also just add that, for some, at least in my opinion, for some things, it's not like you would just lose what you have, like the 6-figure job or your housing or your reputation or whatever, from a relatively minor moment of poor judgment. It's not like you would get fired because you cold emailed too many people for your business or something. So it seems like it makes sense to just see things in the right perspective and not really put that much weight on every little thing that you do. Just consider the possible gain, the possible losses, see what you would lose out on, or what you would regret with either decision. And, you'll probably come to realize that a lot of the things really aren't such a big deal. Like, you don't have to be so careful about every little decision that you make.
I like your answers. They're very calming.
Yeah.
You give very calming answers.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Michael, what are your thoughts? And you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking about like what to reflect on, and generally just this session especially, but every single lecture or speak we've had is like I've just time and time again what jumps at my face is just seeing things from the perspective of not yourself, but like sort of the customer, the you in the situation. Like in everything we do, I notice that however we talk about it, sort of our opinions almost are like secondary a lot of the times, like in how you advise us to like design the website, how you advise us in making sales and reaching out to people. I feel like the emphasis is much more on like others than ourselves. And I feel like a lot of people, especially starting out, and me especially too in the beginning, can get lost in what we want and stuff. But really, that it lies in the customer, I guess.
Wow. I do want to say though, like it's not all about what the customers want, right? Because sometimes it is also about what you want and what you need as well. Um, but I think most people don't focus enough on the other person. Uh, and maybe that like sometimes it is worth like over focusing on the other person so you can kind of just see like, okay, just to understand like it is a balance, right? Like not just like, because then you don't want to only focus on the other person, then you become a people pleaser. But it is good to recognize that like you do need to focus on the other person. That if you're trying to build a product, for example, that people are going to use, it's not about you. Like, I think people want to be artists. I think there's like a video I watched, like a lot of people want to be artists, right? And if you're an artist, typically you draw what you want, and it's all about you. But I think when you're building a business, it's not about you. I think artists have a hard time with this stuff because we want to make it creative, we want to self-express, but sometimes it's not about you expressing yourself, right? It's about like, do the other person understand what you're trying to say? It's about the market. That's why people call it product market fit, right? It's like, so I think you're right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what I was going at. I guess I'm just agreeing with you.
Yeah, I think I'm as someone who's very risk averse, I think a lot of these messages need to like I need to hear them and then I need to internalize them, which I feel like I'm still trying to internalize them. I feel like my family, my culture is more so risk averse. Um, so yeah, I think personally I feel like I really struggle with just believing in myself and believing that I have enough skills. And yeah, like even if like I'm working on a product that it's pretty relevant to my field, I still don't feel confident enough to build it. So I think
Um,
that's yeah.
okay. My thoughts on this, and feel free to jump in, guys, and chime in. Um, I think it's good to I think it's good to humble yourself. I say this because I'm not very humble and I need to work on this more. But I think when I say humble yourself, I don't mean like have low confidence. I mean being aware of what you are, right? Like what are you good at, what you're not good at. I think that's the definition of humbling yourself. It's just knowing who you are, right? I think it's okay to not know everything, including not know if you can do it. And I also ask myself these questions sometimes, right? Oh, can I do it? Can I not do it? Am I smart enough? But I think those aren't the right questions. I think the question is like, how do I do it? Like, how do I make this happen? How do I make this person respond to me? How can I build this product? Maybe I don't have the expertise. Okay, how can I still build it? How can I get the expertise? I think the mindset is more like I'm problem solving. How do I get this customer to pay me? Um, what do I need to do to make this happen? You know, I don't think you need to be that smart to be an entrepreneur. Like I say this because my parents are like small business owners and they're probably better entrepreneurs than I will ever be. Because they came to America with nothing and somehow they put food on the table and I'm doing what I'm doing. Um, Whereas I've seen like people from Harvard like fail like and not really know what they're doing and scamming money or whatever. But they're really good at raising money, right? So I think my point I'm trying to make is like you don't really need to be that smart to do these kind of things. Um, and it doesn't really matter what credentials you have. I think what really matters is like the mindset that you have. Like you're just gonna figure it out. And that's how I feel. Like I like to think that most people are like everyone has doubts. Everyone doubts their ability, especially if you're like at the edge of doing something great or unconventional that's never been done before. Like I think it's just sometimes you just have to find the confidence to move forward. And if you can't find it, find people who can believe in you. Uh, yeah. my thoughts.
And I guess it's also worth saying that, you know, if you lack confidence in your ability to do something, you know, it's important to go ahead and learn, you know, but learning can sometimes feel a little bit risky or vulnerable or difficult, and you might be, you know, naturally averse to it. But like, if you want to get better at it and if you want to accomplish it, you know, you really have to put yourself out there and do some of your learning at least from experience and from practice. And if you're okay with failing in some of those instances where you know, give a try and things don't go quite as well as you hoped, you know, at least you'll have something to take away from that.
Another thing I also want to add on to it with this is that, like, I think believing that you can't do something is a choice. You know, like it probably takes the same amount of effort to believe that you can't do something that it does to believe that you can do something. And I think if you believe that you can't do it, then you won't even try it, and you limit yourself. Yeah, I think sometimes it's just better to just believe that you can do anything, you know, and it's all fine. And you actually can do anything, like, well, just about anything, right? Like, that's like within this physics, within the laws of physics. But I think even that, right? Like, that's actually not even true. Like sometimes people can build things that deny physics, right? Like, and even biology, right? People are like doing anti-aging. So even that's like not actually true, right? Like, I think you can honestly just about do anything in this world. And you can honestly do anything if you find the right people too. And you can only really find the right people if you yourself are sharing to people what you're doing. I think instead of maybe thinking about like, can I achieve this like gigantic vision, just start doing it. I think what I've realized is that there actually aren't a lot of people doing cool things. Like it seems like there are, because you go on social media and you see so many people doing cool things, right? And all your inner circle, all your friends are doing cool things. But I think there are a lot of people who just talk about doing cool things and not a lot of people who actually do cool things and share what they're doing with people. And if you become one of those people who just does cool things for the sake of doing cool things and just share it with people constantly, people will recognize you. And then, yeah, I think just think less about it and then just do more.
So one question that I have is, you know, of course, it's good to be bold and it's good to try out different approaches to getting what you want and to be persistent in, you know, what you do. But I think that everyone also wants to have an understanding of what the optimal way, the optimal approach to do something is before they expend all this time and energy into giving all those things a try. Like, for example, if you're cold emailing a lot of people, we all want to know the best ways to cold email so that we get the highest likelihood of a positive response. So, you know, I think that part, just the optimization, is a bit of a mysterious step that sometimes doesn't get addressed or doesn't get covered in these kinds of educational programs.
I hope I covered it though, right? Like,
well, for example, like, yeah, how do you know how to avoid being annoying to someone? Or, you know, how do you avoid potentially ruining a bridge, potential connection? You know, if you say something that ticks the other guy off, you know, that might make him averse to getting involved in whatever you're doing, when if you had said something else, then maybe he would have been more receptive to you.
This is just like when you send a text message to a girl and you're like, oh man, should I have sent that or should I have said something else? Or something else have been better? I really wouldn't overthink it so much. I think the rule is just keep it simple. Like it's kind of what I've been saying, right? And I'll share the deck as well, but I think it's just keeping it simple, getting to the point, and offering value, and having a clear like call to action of how they can help. Um, I think everything else in terms of like, should I have said this? Should I have said that? How do I not burn this bridge? How do I be aware? I think that's just like you. I think you just have to get comfortable with expressing yourself honestly. And when I say honestly, I mean like it's okay if this person is offended by what I'm saying. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with offending this person and possibly offending this person. You know, it's I think as long as your intentions are pure, it's okay. You know, because you can't help other people receive your words, but your intentions will always be showing. I think if your intentions are I'm doing this thing and I want your help and I'm expressing myself honestly, I have nothing to hide. I think that shows in everything you do, in your email, just your attitude. Like, you know, it's but if your intention is I'm gonna say and do the things that will get you to like me, that will also show. That will also show, right? It will show because you're gonna hesitate about sending this email. You're gonna fixate on every little word before you hit send, and if they don't respond, you're like nervous. And if they do respond and they hop on a call with you, you're like shaking. Like, you know, you're overthinking, you're not sure what to say. Don't do that. I think if there's one takeaway you can get from this is, or this whole entire program, is that you should feel very comfortable just saying what's on your mind. I know it's not always easy, and sometimes you have to like be kind of smart about it. And obviously you don't want to offend people, right? Like if I think you're fat, I'm not gonna say that because I know it's offensive. But I'm also not trying to be someone I'm not, or say something I'm not, or I'm also not trying to like get something from you in a slimy way. I'm very upfront about it. I think how I think about it is I'm just trying to build a relationship with you, you know, like long term, you know, and I'm asking you for a favor and you don't have to say yes. I don't need you to say yes. I think it's the attitude, man. Like I think it's just the attitude that you need to have. And if you have that attitude, you literally can't do it wrong. I think you're looking for the right thing to do, but I think what I'm trying to say to you is just about everything is right as long as you're doing what you want to do, like what's in your gut. But I think the wrong attitude is, I need this person to like me. I need this person to say yes. Like I wouldn't go in there with a needy mindset. Does that make sense? Like, yeah.
Well, yeah, that does make sense. You know, definitely. And I guess that based on what you said, the issue isn't so much learning the behaviors that can optimize your chance of success. It's more a matter of adapting yourself, your own being, your own personality, so that you're more compatible with the people that you want to do entrepreneurship with. I mean, would you say that that's accurate? I mean, like some people are more, you know, conducive to the practice of entrepreneurship, the same way that some people are naturally more, you know, conducive to being a mathematician. And, you know, you might not start out, or you might not naturally develop the kind of personality that makes people attracted to you or eager to do business with you. But like if you can adapt your own being to become that kind of person, then you would naturally behave in the way that can increase your chances of success.
Yeah. I think in summary, what I'm saying is just you just gotta be very comfortable being yourself and okay with people not liking you for who you are. I think a lot of times we're frustrated or we're nervous or we're anxious because we're afraid that if we be ourselves or say the wrong things, people will not like us. But I'm trying to tell you that just about everything in life, you just gotta be yourself and say what you want to say. I don't know how it was like for you when you applied to college, but I remember when I applied, I remember wanting college admissions to really like me, and I really wanted to say all the right things so that they like me. But I think as I've gone older, I realized that I think I realized that like for like true attraction, like for someone to really like you really have to be yourself. Because then they can make a decision very quickly if they like you or not. And not everyone's gonna like you. It's kind of like when you're selling your product, right? You don't need to hide about what it can do or what it cannot do. Don't lie to people. I think what you can do is just state it very obviously, like this is what it's gonna do, this is how it's gonna help you. Do you want it or not? Like same thing, right? With like relationships, like this is who I am, this is what I'm about. Do you like me or not? And it's okay if you don't like me. I think it's just being yourself, putting yourself out there and being like, this is who I am. I'm okay with you not liking me or liking me. I'm okay with you not responding to my email or responding to my email. That is fine with me. But this is who I am.
Well, then the dilemma that, you know, someone might have, that I might have, could be, you know, am I being the self that I want to be? No,
Okay.
because like on the one hand, of course, you perform better, especially in business, if you're confident in yourself. But on the other hand, you know, that self might not be that conducive to doing successful business. And you know, like if you you know, for example, if you're naturally just a very, you know, immature or offensive person, you know, then that's not conducive to most, you know, business settings or business interactions. So like in that case, you would want to, you know, change yourself in a bit, right? In a way, right?
Oh, I mean, obviously, like use your judgment, like
Yeah.
like be like again, right? Like if someone says like, "Are you fat?" or "Am I fat?" Like discern when should I be like when should I like say what I say.
Mhm.
I think the point I'm trying to make is I think if you're authentic, like if you express yourself without without needing someone to like you or not,
Mm.
I think that's the best way for you to build trust with people.
Okay.
Because you're just expressing who you are and you're not trying to get them to like you.
Mm.
Like for example, if a girl like or if someone like came to you and they're just doing everything you're saying, they're a yes man to you,
Mhm.
you're probably not going to trust them that much, whereas someone told you, no, Adam, don't say that in front of me, I don't like that. You're going to know where their boundaries are, you're going to trust them more because they're honest to you, you know and you might not like everything they say, but that's okay. Like, at least you know who they are.
Mm.
My point is like use your judgment, right? When you want to express yourself honestly, when you want to tell the truth or whatever, use your judgment on that. But my point is, if you want to build relationships with people, I think you should optimize for just being yourself, and sometimes being very honest is actually like not a bad thing. Um, like when I say honest, I don't mean like I don't want to sound like I'm just like like a goody two shoes. Like that's not what I mean. Right? I just mean like just saying what's on your mind. Like if something bothers you, say it. If something doesn't, if you want something, say it. And just being okay with like people not agreeing with you, because then people can make a decision about you, right? I think you just want people to make a decision about you. I think too many people are just like in the middle, lukewarm. I don't feel strongly about you. I don't feel anything about you. I think you rather people love or hate you. I think that's kind of what you're trying to optimize for. People loving you or people hating you. The worst thing you can do is people not caring about you or not. They're just in the middle because people don't even know who you are.
Mm.
I personally think that's not a good place to be. I don't think that's how you stand out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other thoughts though before we close this up?
Now, actually, I want to share.
Mhm.
You, we were talking about risk aversion, maybe 30 minutes ago, and I was thinking about it. Like, where does risk aversion come from? We all have our own thoughts. But the people I've met, how about I'll tell I'll tell the story of someone who dropped out of UConn, who would have graduated at the same time I would have, or I did. So her name was Raina, or her name is Raina Jane. Uh, her nickname is like Queen Bee. She's raised multiples of millions of dollars in funding for a couple of her startups. She was a Peter Thiel Fellow, all of that. And her motivation to push her there was just the fear of not having, like, making a name for herself. She dropped out when she was a sophomore, right? Her parents didn't like the decision. She had this idea, and she told the group that for the first couple of weeks, she would go to like 200, 300 grocery stores to pitch her like nutrition shot or whatever, the thing that she was selling. So that's, in a way, what I'm saying is, you can put yourself out there, and the only choice you have is to make it or just die. And that's kind of what I did too. I'm in Austin. I don't have a job, and I could have stayed back at home to continue developing without anyone around, in a safe, comfortable environment with meals provided for me every night. But when you put yourself in the environment or situation where it's stressful, then you can kind of test to see if you know what you're made of and build character that way. But just some insights.
Any thoughts
Yes.
on that?
It's definitely good to know your own psychology and to establish some real effective motivators for yourself to behave in the way that you want to behave, or where you want to end up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff, what are you thinking?
Um, I think maybe this is like an Asian thing, like where we try to like please our parents growing up, and now like as we like become adults, we try to please people. Because otherwise, I don't think there's any reason to really stress about, fuck, did I say the right thing? Is this person gonna like me if I say this? Or I said this, like, should I have not said this? Like, why am I like, if you really think about it, why are you like really nervous about like interviews, right? Because you're afraid of like this person won't give this thing to you, or this person won't like you for who you are. But and then we try to be someone else. We don't even give people a chance to get to know us, and make a real decision about if they like you or not. I think oftentimes we're just too ashamed. Like, so we try to be someone else that we think they will like. But that's not even a real version of you. And I think people can tell when you're not being real, because you're holding back who you are, and people can sense that. I think that exudes in a lot of your actions and the word, everything you say. Yeah, just don't be people pleasers. Yeah, that's probably my thoughts. Like, just don't be people pleaser. Be okay with like just saying no. Like, I think if you people please so much, you'll just never really know what you're doing, because you're always going to do what everyone else wants you to do, or what everyone else thinks is the right thing to do is. And I think in entrepreneurship, you're going to hear a lot of feedback from people, like what features to build, what things to do. Like, I think sometimes you just need to. I don't know if anyone's religious here, but if you are religious, I think you can believe in God, like what God wants you to do. But I think if you're not religious, I think you should just listen to what your gut tells you to do, right? Like, I don't think you should. Even your parents don't really know. At least I don't think my parents know who I am really, right? Because they don't understand half the things I do. So I think like even your parents really shouldn't be telling you what to do. Like, I think I think in this kind of thing, if you're trying to be cutting edge or doing anything that hasn't really been done before, or very few people in the world have done, there isn't a blueprint. Like there's not a, like the first person to climb Mount Everest, right? How did he do it? Like he just did it, you know? And he had to figure out a lot of things for himself. There is no blueprint to climbing Mount Everest for the first time. You know, people can give you ideas, people give you templates, what they think, what the research says, but until you actually do it, like there's just no way to know. Just my thoughts. Okay, how are you guys feeling about homework 3, by the way, or like the rest of the program? I shared a little bit about that. Curious to hear your thoughts.
So, homework 3 seems all right, but that just reminded me that I don't think that my homework 2 was actually reviewed. You know,
Oh, it
with
wasn't?
the website, like we kind of just skipped over, and you said that we'd come back to it, but
Oh,
we
right,
never
right.
did.
All right, we can review it real quick. I forgot about that.
Okay, and
Yeah.
the recording thing as well.
Oh, is this it?
That's
Oh,
the
right.
website.
All right, let's check this out. Is it still sharing or no?
It's not sharing, but it looks like Zoom is still recording.
It's not recording.
Oh, okay. Okay, well
Is
that's
it recording? I don't think it's recording.
on
Oh,
my end. There's still a recording icon there.
It is.